Morning, Speaker. I'm just doing a check.
Loud and clear.
Good morning, Speaker. Good morning, Councillors.
Morning.
Uzuko. Yo. Khambela lo mntana mani. Hambani lo mntana ndine-meeting apha.
It's weird. I didn't know you could have.
Good morning, everybody. I'd like to take this opportunity to welcome the Executive Mayor Alderman van Wyk, all aldermen, councillors, municipal manager and her staff, members of the press and the public. I'd like to also ask at this stage for Councillor Johan de Tooy to open for prayer in prayer for us, please.
Thank you, Speaker. I'll do it with pleasure. Let's bow our heads and close our eyes. Our Heavenly Father, it's with gratefulness in our hearts that we come to your throne this morning to bring you honor and praise and glorify your magnificent name, the name that is above every other name. Lord, we all want to honor you, and we want to thank you for your love, your kindness, and your mercy upon all the people in George. Now, thank you, Lord, for this day. Thank you for health, and thank you that we can do our daily work and with your love and your care about us, Lord. And today we have a very important council meeting where different things will be discussed, and we need you and the Holy Spirit to guide us and lead us so that we will do the things according to your will. And that's why I'm praying, Lord, let your will be done in heaven, on earth as it is in heaven. Bless our speaker, our mayor, our councillors, and the staff, the MM and the staff is my prayer in Jesus' name. Let your name be glorified in everything that we do. And I thank you therefore. Amen.
Thank you very much, Councillor. I'd also like to take this opportunity to wish everybody that has celebrated a birthday in the last month a blessed year ahead of you, and also our condolences to any members of staff and councillors who have lost family members in the last month. With that, I'd like to continue with item 2 on the agenda, which is the mayoral address. Alderman van Wyk, you may go ahead.
Good morning, Speaker. Are audible?
You are.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Good morning, Speaker, Deputy Mayor, Alderman, Chief Whip, Councillors, Municipal Manager, Directors, officials, members of the media and the public. Over the past couple of weekends, we've experienced extraordinary weather conditions across the Western Cape that have caused much damage to infrastructure and private assets. During the storm surge that we experienced, the extent thereof was probably much worse than was expected, resulting in more damage than anticipated. We are extremely grateful to our emergency teams and the various service delivery teams who were called in to deal with the cleanup operation from the Sunday, escalating on the Monday after the exceptionally high tides had settled. During the on-site inspection at Herald's Bay on Sunday morning, decisions were made to remove debris that could cause further damage during the next high tide. This included the removal of the generator for the sewer pump station to ensure it was not damaged any further. Wooden walkways and bridges, signboards, electrical kiosks, benches, paving, and the retaining wall are all examples of what were either destroyed or damaged. The full costing of the damage will no doubt run into many millions of rands. Damage was also caused at Hwaing, Victoria Bay, and Wilderness Beaches. We extend our sympathies to the family and friends of the elderly lady who passed away after being caught in a monster wave with other onlookers in the Linkies Klip parking area. Much damage has been caused to private property and critically to the primary sand dunes along the coastline. In the days following the storm surge, Sandparks in our municipality undertook the mammoth task of trying to move sand deposited under the N2 and railway bridges across the Tower River and within the lagoon area to ensure that floodwaters from the massive rainstorm that was expected to take place over the past weekend did not swamp the surrounding area. So this work that was undertaken was of critical importance to ensure our safety, and we've got to be very thankful for that work having been done. While receiving 99 millimeters of rain over the weekend of 23 to 25 September, George was extremely fortunate to have not had much damage in comparison with the deluge of rain that fell in the municipalities of Overstrand, Cape Agulhas, Theewaterskloof, Langeberg, Stellenbosch and Drakensberg, to name some of those municipalities where there has been considerable damage to infrastructure and other assets. Yesterday, on 27 September, we were requested to render assistance to Overstrand, and our 35,000-litre fire tanker and a 7,000-litre water tanker left yesterday to provide help. And during the course of last night, I received the messages of the tanker arriving and on site and already starting to provide assistance. And I've received further messages this morning of the work that we are doing there to provide water. By last night, Overstrand had already been without electricity for 90 hours and had run out of water, with numerous pipelines being damaged and requiring repair. This picture is similar to what is appearing in other areas around the Western Cape. Over the past few years, our municipality has intensified our efforts to improve stormwater infrastructure in vulnerable areas and to be more prepared for adverse weather conditions that appear to be occurring more regularly. We are fortunate to have received disaster relief grant funding of over 200 million rand following the November 21 floods that are now being applied to repair and restore damage that was incurred at that stage. I believe that it is this dedication to duty in maintaining our infrastructure along with the service delivery ethic that has played an invaluable role in minimizing possible damage. We are thankful to our management and staff for their commitment to undertake this work that continuously is allowing praise to be given to George for what we are doing. Over the past few weeks, we've experienced a fair amount of damage to electrical infrastructure, including last evening on the Eskom side of the Skarpkop electrical substation. Much work is being done on preventative maintenance in the view of ongoing load shedding. Electrical equipment is expected to operate on a 24/7 basis, and accordingly, the incidents of damage that occur as load shedding takes place and on the restoration of power thereafter is very damaging to equipment. There is major concern about the spikes in electrical usage that occur following periods of load shedding, with the restoration of power, particularly after the 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. period, causing excessive peaks as households rush to prepare meals, use appliances, stoves, geysers, etc. I raise this point because our public will collectively need to become more self-disciplined to reduce the electricity demand, and that is needed because we can't afford to have continuous damage to our electrical infrastructure. Within the Parkdean and Conville areas, there has been damage to a substation that will require fairly extensive repair work. Electrotech has been working to relay power to the area and to undertake repairs to provide power until more permanent repairs can be undertaken. This is an example of the risks we now face as a result of load shedding. In recent weeks, our repair teams have also had to deal with water pipeline breakages, as well as the lack of water pressure in the Skynsbank Street area in Harold's Bay. We thank all our teams who undertake these repairs. I would also like to comment on the green shoots that are appearing in the economy as I reach conclusion of this speech, in which I'm really just looking at what has taken place over the last few weeks. We are in ongoing discussions with the Western Cape Department of Education about the schooling needs for George, with the department having earmarked the need to plan and develop 4 schools as quickly as possible. It is pleasing to note that construction on the new Mediclinic development is commencing. There are numerous housing developments underway across George that will provide additional accommodation. These developments add to the housing stock and will also spur on the development of more housing within the affordable sector. The development of a major industrial park close to the airport is also welcomed, as this will add to warehousing space and cold storage that is needed. A number of entrepreneurs have indicated that they have expansion plans that will result in more employment opportunities in George. We are now at the end of the third quarter of 2023, and I would like to thank our municipal manager, directors, and their teams for work this quarter. Thank you too to the councillors for their continued work this quarter. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, Alderman van Wyk. We're going to go over to the replies. The first party to speak on this item is the speech is the ANC. You have 3 minutes, please. Is there anyone from the ANC that's going to do the reply? I have nothing. I'm going to move on to the next party. I'll come back to the ANC as the last or later, but I'm going to carry on with the PBI. You have 3 minutes.
Mr. Speaker, good morning. I struggle to log in on my computer, so I speak from my cell phone. Mr. Mayor, good morning to you as well. Our sincere condolences on behalf of the PBI to the bereaved family of the elderly lady that died in Linkies Klip due to the disaster and the storms. And we trust that the Holy Spirit will comfort them in their time of bereavement. We take cognizance of your speech with regard to the disaster damage, the flooding, the rain, and everything that accompanied the storm. I don't want to dwell too much into that, but I want to ask you to do everything possible to assist every community. The emphasis is to assist every community that suffered this heavy rain and storms and disaster. We are aware that in low-lying areas, people are indeed struggling. There is a slow progress on behalf, with regard to these walls that they built. People are in need, particularly in your area of Newton Park, low-lying areas of Cornwall and Parkdean and so on. So we need to attend to every community, and we need to make haste because people are suffering all the more as it is also, the change of weather conditions that visit us time after time. With regard to the housing development, that is a provincial and national competency, but we urge your government to concentrate on a variety of stock that's available, inter alia rental stock, where people don't have to need to qualify for or to wait for RDP houses alone. And the initiative of those rental stock next to the district municipality, the land available also in the Hellerlands, the initiative by the district municipality, that your government will expedite the process. I understand that there are problems, hiccups, and administrative bureaucracies wanting to block those processes. You've got to speak up and tell the people what you really want to do because people are in need of housing. In terms of the 4 schools that are about to be built, this is not a local government competency, and we cannot wait every election every 5 years until they build some schools. The Western Cape Education Department must have a continuous program where they attend to the needs of the communities. For too long, people are crying out for more schools and a variety of schools in a variety of areas, communities. And we cannot just buy this all the time. Just before an election, the DA provincial government comes out and say, we're going to build schools now. We cannot hold yellow carrots in front of people all the time.
Thank you, Councillor. Your time is up. Thank you very much for that, Alderman Gericke. As you can see, the timer is on the screen, so we'll continue. The next party to speak on the item is the Freedom Front Plus. You have 3 minutes.
Baie dankie Speaker, goeiemôre. Deur u aan die burgemeester. Burgemeester, ek praat Afrikaans. Statistiek bewys dat oor die 80% van die inwoners van George is Afrikaans sprekend en ek het ook 'n versoek gekry om Afrikaans te praat vir mense wat nie Engels magtig is nie en wat ook luister na ons vergadering. Ten opsigte van die weerkondisies, ja, dit is so. Ek is bly dit aangeraak. Die verwoesting was ongelooflik geweest, ook ons innige simpatie met die dame se familie wat haar lewe verloor het. En ek sluit aan by my kollega van die PBI. Burgemeester, daar is woonbuurte waar huise nog steeds in water staan. Ek was by oumaatjie se huis, sy slaap saans op haar bed binne in water, binne in haar slaapkamer. Sy kry dit nie uit nie, want dit kom aan een van buite af in. Haar beddegoed is klam, haar klere is nat. Sy kan nie waag om die krag aan te sit nie as gevolg van die reperkusies. Alles is nat, die water is fisies binne in haar huis en sy is nie die enigste nie. Ek het so 'n paar ander huise besoek, by een vloei die water eenvoudig dwars deur die huis, aan een kant in deur die muur en dan loop hy by die sitkamerdeur uit. Die nood is hoog en ek hoop en ek vertrou dat dit spoedig aangespreek. Ek praat spesifiek van die Mayoral area. Die skade aan elektrisiteitstoerusting is onvermydelik. Dit sal gebeur. Maar nou kan ek ook vir u sê die realiteit op die grond is dat daar's kinders wat moet skool toe gaan, daar's kinders wat moet eet, daar's kinders wat moet bad, kinders wat moet kos kry en dan sit die armste van die mense ook nog met die 20 amp stelsel wat nou aangepas is na 30 toe. Hulle kan nie stoof en die geyser te gelykertyd gebruik nie. Dis 'n inpassing. Dit veroorsaak groot ontwrigting en ek is nie seker of die mense, ek weet die nood is daar, dat hulle elektrisiteit moet beheer of bestuur of probeer bestuur, maar ek dink nie dit is so maklik nie. Ten opsigte van die skole, dit is so dat die departement dreig al baie lank om skole te bou, maar ons weet self hoe die departement funksioneer. Die kans hulle daai 4 skole binne die volgende 10 jaar gebou sal word, sê ek vir u vandag, sal 'n wonderwerk wees. Maar aan die ander kant weet ons van privaat beleggers wat in 'n tou staan en van bakboord na stuurboord gestuur word en wat wil skole bou, wat die druk op die ander skole wat huidiglik hier is, aansienlik sal verlig. Miskien moet ons meer aandag gee daaraan. Burgemeester, so in 'n netedop, dis omtrent wat u gesê het vanoggend. Ek sou graag wou gehad het u moes die luisteraars daar buite en ook die raadslede inlig oor die stand van hierdie slim watermeters. Dit help nie, ons het 1000 geïnstalleer.
Dankie daar, Alderman. Thank you very much. The time is up, unfortunately. Mr. Paulus, could I ask you to do a translation for us, please?
Thank you, Speaker. Good morning, councillors. Uthi yona ke uFreba ogqibothetha apha uthi ke 80% abahlali balapha eGeorge bathetha ulwimi lweAfrikaans. Baye bacela ke into yokubana nabo bakhe babandakanywe okanye babalwe kwezi ntlanganiso. So uthi ke yiloo nto ke namhlanje ezawukhetha ukuba makathethe ulwimi lweAfrikaans ukwenzela uba azokwazi uku-accommodate wonke umntu omameleyo ukwenzela uba zontathu ii-languages zibe ziyathethwa apha kule ntlanganiso namhlanje. Okokuqala ke uthi ndizawukhankanya ke malunga ne-disaster ibithe yasehlela oyichaphazeleyo sodolophu. Uthi ke ewe ibiyintlekele embi kakhulu futhi ke isishiye ke kukho amakhaya amaninzi athe abandakanyeka ke kule ntlekela. Uthi ke uyavumelana ne-PBI into yokubana kwintetho ebithetha bazininzi izindlu ezikhoyo apha eGeorge ezingenelwa ngamanzi xa kufikelelwe iintlekele ezinjena eziye zithi ke ngoku zifumane abantu bafumane besengxakini. Uthi khona ke umzi specifically yena ebekhe wayondwendela ke ngeli xesha lentlekele apho uye wabona umakhulu othile ohlala yedwa edada emanzini kule ndlu. Uthetha ke malunga nengingqi yaseMayoral. Uthi ke zininzi kakhulu izindlu ezinjeya ezingenelwa ngamanzi namanzi xa kukho ixesha le-disaster okanye lentlekelo elinjena. Uthi zizinto ke ezo bekumele uba ziya-adreswa, zizinto ebekumele uba ziyajongwa umonakalo owenzekayo, futhi ke kuzanywe ukungahandwa xa kunophinda kube khona umonakalo onje abantu bangaziboni behleli nengxaki enjelo. Uthi ke ukhankanye malunga nomba wombane. Umbane yingxaki enkulu okanye eninzi esihleli nayo. Abantu basezingxakini ngoba ekuseni nintsi into eyenzekayo esebenzisa umbane. Abantu balungisela ukuphangela, abantwana funeka bafikelele ezikolweni. Ngoko ke le ndaba yezi amp zithi zihliswe ebangela uba abantu bangakwazi ukusebenzisa umbane ngokwaneleyo iyingxaki, futhi ke iyingxaki enkulu ekufuneka kujongenwe kunye nayo. Uthi ke ukhankanye malunga nezikolo eziyingxaki, futhi ke sinesidingo esikhoyo esininzi sezikolo. Uthi siyayazi ke i-department ithatha ithuba ukubana mayenze izikolo. Uthi ba nokwenzeka into yobana iminyaka 10 ifike sezakhiwo ezo zikolo iyawuba ngumangaliso loyo, kodwa ke siyayazi into yobana uxinzelelo luninzi ngoku kwizikolo ezikhoyo ngoba funeka bahlale namanani abantwana abaninzi ngenxa yokuba kushota okanye kusokoleka izikolo kwiindawo ngeendawo ezithile. Uthi ke enye into funeka ijongwe yile smart water meter, i-smart meter funeka kujongwe yona ke. Uthi ke yingxaki ekhoyo okanye yinto funeka ingeniswe ebantwini okanye abantu bazoyicaciselwa kakuhle. Enkosi.
Thank you very much, Mr. Paulus. The next party to speak on this item is the Good Party. You have 3 minutes, please.
Goeiemôre meneer Mr. Speaker, goeiemôre almal. Ja, ons as Good wil graag ons innige meegevoel ook aan die dame wat haar lewe verloor het gee en mag die Here saam met haar familie wees. Ja, ek kon nie alles mooi luister wat die Meyer oor gepraat het nie, maar my sound was af. Mr. Meyer, ons wil graag hê of vir u vra dat u julle moet graag gaan kyk ook in ons agtergeblewe gebiede soos in wijk 16, Newton Park spesifiek, ook waar ons mense se jagte ook nog steeds nat en vol water is, en waar daar is tans besig om retaining walls opgesit word en net by sekere huise. Jy moet graag gaan kyk hoe die huise wat nie gekry het nou of retaining walle kry nie, hoe dat daai huise se walle met hierdie reën ingeval het. Ons moet graag ook gaan kyk aan Spandeelstraat en Borges by die plakkerskampe, hoe die water deur daardie mense se huise loop. So Mr. Meyer, ek kan nie baie sê hier op nie, maar julle sal moet regtig kyk na ons gebiede ook en ook spoedig by ons gebiede uitkom. Baie dankie.
Thank you very much, Mr. Paulus.
Ek kon nie mooi hoor mos nie.
Uthi ke bona beyigudi bazawudlulisa uvelwano kwikhaya lalo mama uthe wasweleka kule ntlekele yamanzi bithe yasehlela. Aphinde ke athi akavanga kakuhle ngoba isound yakhe ibi-off ngelaa xesha umeya ebethetha, kodwa ke uthi kuzawufuneka nijonge phaa kuWard 16 eNewton Park ubana zikhona izindlu ezithile futhi nazo bezidada emanzini, kujongwe futhi neeyadi zabantu, indlela abantu abahleli ngayo uba kunjani na. Uthi ke Mr. Meyer kuzawufuneka banize nakwezethu i-area, kwezethu ingingqi apho nizojonga umonakalo owenziweyo yile ntlekele nezimvula. Kuzawufuneka ke kuziwe kukangako ke anokuthetha. Enkosi.
Thank you very much. The next person, party to speak on this is the EFF. You have 3 minutes.
Enkosi Mr. Speaker, mandibulise enhlanganisweni kumuntu wonke okhoyo. Ndizawuthetha nami isiXhosa ke lenyanga ke yezamasiko kunye nenkcubeko. Mr. Speaker, ndifuna ukuqala ke ndithethe phaa ngala table of content yenu ye-speakers list. Kuyacaca okokuba ezingxaki sikuzo ngomnye wonobangela, nanjengokuba ke kubonakala uba lukhona ungquzulwano kule coalition yenu kunye ne-FF Plus. Namhlanje ke ithetha njengengombutho ongaphesheya phaa ngeli xesha ezinto ke bezipasiswa ze-tariffs ibikhona sisilwa sisithi hayi mayiye eluntwini ingathithi ivumelana kunye nani. Kuyabonakala ke Mr. Speaker okokuba isininzi asibalulekanga ngaphandleni kokuba kubaleke izinto ezidla uluntu. Iyayicacisa loo nto leyo namhlanje nanjengokuba ke ikhala nathi kule 3 minutes iyinikiweyo. Thina Mr Speaker siyavumelana ke nemibutho ebesiyithethile apha efana ne-BPI. I-service delivery ingakumbi ke kakuthe kwahla intlekele ezifana nezi zeziweda ke zizizikhukhula. Iba namehlo ihamba indawo ezithile. Abantu bakuthi bashiywa nezithembiso. Kufika nje kuzojoba kungaphinde kubuywe kuziwe nezisombululo kwizinto ezithe ke zenzeka apha ekuhlaleni. Ewe Mr Speaker siyabona ba umeya uthetha nangendima ke ezidibene nemibala kuzo kwi-area ke ezihlukeneyo. Sifuna ukuthi ke indima edibene nombane nezinto ezibangela ezitransformer ke kufumaniseke uba ziyadamejeka kungenxeni yokokuba ayizi le service delivery ilindiwe. And ke eziba siyazi ba kukho ke izinyoka eziqhubekayo kwilokishi ke zabantu bakuthi nanjengokuba besokola ziye zibangele ke unobangela wezi-damages athetha ngazo ke usodolophu. Sizawucela ke thina siyi-EFF okuba maku-speed up i-processes ukuthi ukwenzela okokuba zifikelele iinkonzo kwaba bantu bazisokolayo kufumaniseka uba baphela beziba zidameyije ke ezi-transformer. Siyazi uba ziyadura ke ziyamkhosta ke umasipala wethu. So besizawucela uba mayi-speed up i-process ngakumbi ke kudolophu. Nokuya ke kwinto ibiseyithethiwe apha ekhankanywa izikolo okokuba zithatha ixesha okokuba mazikhiwe. Andizuya kwizikolo zodwa. Sine-library enye kwezi ndawo zethu. Ufumaniseke uba umthamo wabantu umninzi kakhulu. So besizawucela okokuba nalapho ke kukhawuleziswe ke ukukhiwa izakhiwo ezinjalo. Inkosi.
Thank you very much, Councillor. Can we have a translation, please?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The EFF greets this morning. It says that because it's Cultural Month, he's also going to prefer speaking in his vernacular language, isiXhosa. Speaker, it shows that there is a problem with the coalition because of the fact that F Plus today decides to speak on himself and uses the 3 minutes that he was given. It shows that there is a problem. One of the reasons or that we are sitting with is a problem that is in the coalition. It shows that the majority does not really rule, but we must actually look at the concerns of the people, because the fact that the FF Plus showed that they also have a problem with the concerns that we were addressing and fought for. They were listening to us, but they were not joining us. Now, today we hear that they also have a problem. It shows that the problem affects everybody. They also mentioned about the service delivery. Service delivery is a problem because it really shows when we are faced with these disasters, because when it comes to our areas, officials do come, but they just come to assess the situation. They don't come with solutions. And then our people are promised that they will be attended to, but only certain areas are given attention to. So those things need to be looked at, and those things need to be given attention. That Mayor mentioned or made mention of electricity problems that we are sitting with. Yes, we've got a problem with electricity in our areas. We know about the damages of the transformers that we have, and we want to say yes, part of the problems that gives problems to the electricity is the illegal electrical connection that we call izinyoka in our language. The illegal connection problem is a problem, and which we say that service delivery should be speed up. They should speed up in service delivery so that we can avoid or deter these problems from further occurring, because they cause a great problem. Please speed up the process so that the damage can be less. You also made mention of the schools. Yes, we know that schools will take time to be built. You also made mention of libraries. We've got one library institution in each area, so which is also a problem because we've got a large number of people that are attending those libraries. So please let service delivery be hurry or speed up the process of service delivery. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Before we continue with the PA, I noticed that a lot of the ANC councillors have joined us. So can I please ask the ANC to give your 3 minutes, please? If you have 3 minutes, if somebody wants to speak. Otherwise, please indicate whether I can continue. ANC, I'm going to take that as a going forward.
Speaker.
Okay, thank you. ANC,
Bye-bye,
I'm giving Councillor Tondini, your microphone is on. I therefore take it that you're going to be doing the 3 minutes. Could you please start? Your time starts now. Councillor Tondini,
Speaker, Faith will talk.
thank you. Can we please continue? Your time is starting.
Good morning, everyone. Mayor, we've heard your mayoral address. The mayoral address that is only speaking to the some areas of George. That doesn't include some areas of George. As the ANC, we've noticed that you spoke more about this, the beaches, the Luandles, of which it seems as if it's only those people that are important in this municipality, while we have so much floods in our areas. We've got areas there, Kushindota, New Valley, Ward 21, every ward in Timberlake has got squatter camps, but we didn't even see one official of the municipality that was there. Only people that were there, the people that were serving Gamplas. The Gamplas that we said that it's not the solution to the problem that is in the informal settlements. We've been asking this municipality for more than 20 years, saying that, can you please do something about the Gamplas? Can you change providing Gamplas for our people? There were people that were flooding there. The people are still not in their houses, but nothing came. No one did inspection, went there and see what is the cause of those things. I'm staying in the formal area. In the formal area where the stormwater are closed, and when there are floods and the rain, all that water cannot penetrate there, but they come to our houses. No one is there. We've been reporting that. No one is there. It is in the whole Timberlake. You drive in Timberlake, you see that all stormwaters are closed. You report, no one comes. If they come, they will just fear, then they go on. Is that fine? Is that how we want our people to live? Are driving in Parkton every day. Parkton is also like that. Is that fine? Is only town that is needed to be clean in George? Is that fine? When you come into your electricity, it is bad, Speaker. When you come to municipality, you found long queues of people coming to solve their problems. You come here, you produce your documents. That problem is not solved. Tomorrow you must come to town. Those people are the poorest of the poor. Why must they get the money to come to town every day? Some people are walking to town. Is that fair? It's not. Get the solution, Speaker. Get your facts right. Let's change our policies. If it means we must change our policies to accommodate the poor of the poorest with regarding the electricity. It's bad, Speaker. Do you feel proud when you get in, as you, the mayor of the town? Do you feel proud when you see those long queues there? It's not nice, Speaker. It's not nice. People are coming to town to resolve these things. It's not resolved. We've been saying, please do something to the people that have been staying in the houses for 20 years. Now you are looking for the husband of the person that died in 1978. Is that right? It's not right, Speaker. Thank you very much. Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor. Your time is up, unfortunately. I'm going to have to move on to the next party. The next party on the speaker list is the PA. You have 3 minutes, please.
Good morning. Thank you, Speaker. Good day to my colleagues and Executive Mayor and our community. We note your report, Mr. Mayor. When I give criticism, it's always constructive, in the sense that it must be building, towards a better society for all of us. I cannot other but to think that that your speech is a more political one for the Western Cape. However, I must commend our councillors, staff and management for the assistance during the flood disaster. our infrastructure has been tested to its full capacity. And I will change now to Afrikaans. As ons kyk na ons die woonbeurte in Potchefstroom, Parkdien, Pakkersdorp, Thembalethu, Blanco, oral, het ons gesien veral in dit is nie eens in formele nedersettings nie, maar daar is huise wat die riool van die pad af dwars deur huise, ek kan van 5 huise kan ek noem, maar baie dankie vir ons kollegas wat ons daarso gehelp het in een woongebied. So ons infrastruktuur is baie swak. Our infrastructure has been, as I say, tested to its full capacity. South Africa has always been seen in the global world as the most unequal society. Hence, service delivery seems to be unequal as well. It is good to see that some work has been done vigorously by all of us to eliminate such a notion that we are unequal. Infrastructure need to be upgraded in our disadvantaged communities, Mr. Mayor. Furthermore, we all must build towards a better George for all. I therefore thank you and commend you and council. That is now when I'm talking about council, I'm speaking about the opposition as well, myself and our party included. We will watch your endeavors and support you by holding you accountable when it comes to best service delivery for all. Dit is hartseer om te sien, speaker, wanneer jy daar kom, dat ou mense sit en wag vir hulle krag om aangesit te word. Daar is al klaar soveel druk op hulle met die inflasie en die kosbandjie wat al hoe duurder raak. So ons vra vir u vandag, speaker, Mr. Meyer, dat ons almal moet saamwerk vir 'n beter toekoms vir George. Ek dank u.
Thank you, Councillor. Can we have a translation, please?
Thank you, Speaker.
Continue.
Thank you, Speaker. The last part, Councillor said, okay, masiqale kule. Uthe ingingqi zethu zabantu abahluphekayo, iBotchefstroom, iParkdien, iPakkersdorp, iThembalethu, zonke ezaa ndawo. Uthi ke sibonile kakhulu ngoku bekukho ifloods okanye bekho izikhukhula, bekunezindlu ezingena amanzi. Sithetha ke ngezindlu ezakhiweyo, singekathethi ngezindlu esibandakanya okanye sibala kuzo amatyotyombe. Uthi nazo zezinye iinkinga ekufuneka sijonge kuzo, kodwa ke uthi uyabulela kakhulu kwii-colleagues okanye abasebenzi abathe bazama ukunceda kwezinye zezaa nkinga. Istatement sakhe sokugqibela uthi ke iyafrustrate okanye ivisa kabuhlungu into yokuthi xa ungena kwamasipala ubone abantu abadala abahleliyo abafolileyo befolelwe ukuncedwa ngendaba yombane. Uthi ke ivisa kabuhlungu kakhulu, bantu bathi bene-problems kanye zikhona ezinye iingxaki ezinjenge-inflation abantu abajongene nazo nokusokola neemeko ezininzi babe bezohlala apha bezojanga okanye bezofuna amancedo ngeendaba zombane. Uthi uyaqela ke makusetyenziswane bantu bazokwazi ukuncedwa ne-service delivery mayenziwe. Enkosi.
Thank you very much. The next party to speak on the speech is the ACDP. You have 3 minutes.
Baie dankie, speaker. Speaker, die ACDP wil begin deur te sê ons innige meegevoel en simpatie met die familie van die moedertjie en ouma wat haar lewe verloor het as gevolg van daai reuse brande by Lentjesklip. Ons bid die Here dat die Here daardie familie sal toevou met sy liefde as gevolg van hierdie ontsaglike groot verlies in hulle midde, wat hulle nie verwag het wat op so 'n manier sou gebeur het nie, en dat die Here hulle sal toevou en dat die Heilige Gees, die Parakletos, die helper, hulle sal toevou en hulle sal deurdra deur hierdie omstandighede. En dan ook, ja, die nood is ontsaglik groot in George as gevolg van die geweldige hoë springgety wat ons gehad het en die reën wat geval het. Die nood oral is hoog en ons weet daar is ook net soveel amptenare wat kan werk en die dinge doen. So ons sal nie oral alles gelyk kan doen nie, maar burgemeester, van die ACDP se versoek is dat ons sal kyk na mense soos 'n raadseer van die kerk gesê het, 'n moedertjie wat sy huis in water is, sy slaap feitelik in water, dat ons dringend aandag aan daardie dinge sal gee. Ek wil ook aan die MM en ons direkteure, ons staf en amptenare baie dankie sê vir die flinke en vinnige wyse waarop hulle opgetree het om ons strande weer skoon te maak en paaie rybaar te maak as gevolg van die geweldige sand wat op ons paaie gelê het. Ek wil hulle dankie sê vir hulle onbaatsigtige werk en dat hulle oortyd gewerk het om dit vir ons moontlik te maak. Ons weet, in beerdkrag weet ons en ons krag is besig om sy tol te eis op besighede en ook om families onder geweldige druk te sit wanneer beerdkrag aankom, moet daar kos gemaak word ensovoorts wat ander al reeds gesê het. Ek wil nie verder daarop uitbrei nie, maar burgemeester, ons sal maar moet kyk om op alle gebiede dat ons regmatig ons aandag sal gee waar dit die nodigste is. Baie dankie, Speaker.
Thank you very much, Councillor.
Ithi ACDP nayo ke ifuna udlulisa ke ilizwi lovelwano kusapho lwefamily okanye kusapho lomama othe wasishiya ke kule disaster ebikhona yamanzi okanye kwezikhukhula. Uthi ke uyavelana kakhulu nabo ingxaki abajongene nayo okanye kwentlungu abajongene nayo. Uthi ke isidingo ke sikhona ke kakhulu njengoba usedolophu besetshilo ukuba isidingo sikhona apha eGeorge kuba kaloku ngenxa yemozulu yethu okanye esithe sajongana nayo kwezi veki zimbalwa esisuka kuzo. Uthi ke ufuna ukubulela ngoba kaloku khona officials zizamile ukufikelela kwiingingqi apho bezikwazi ukufikelela kuzo. Uthi ke makujongeke kumakhaya athile okanye kwiindawo ezithile njengoba besekukhankanyiwe ke uAlderman Rhebe ke esithi kunamakhaya athile okanye amakhaya anamanzi okanye angenelwa ngamanzi, makujongeke kwiingingqi zonke ukwenzela uba kuzofikelelwa kumntu wonke kuloo makhaya njalo kuzanywe ukulungiswa. Uthi ke uyabulela kakhulu ku-MM nakwi-director nakwi-staff okanye nakwi-officials ngentsebenzo okanye engxamisekileyo abathe bayinikezela ngexesha bekudinga kakhulu i-overtime bezisebenza ukuzama ukuxoxa nokunceda ukubana idolophu yethu ibuyele esiqhelweni futhi nokuzama ukusabela ngexesha likaxakeka. Uyabulela kakhulu ke. Uthi ke ingxaki nayo esijongene nayo zingxaki zombane njengefemeli siyazi uba iyasichukumisa sonke okanye iyasibandakanya sonke iingxaki zombane ngoba kaloku umbane siyazi yinto enkulu kakhulu ngoba sizama ukubana upheke kuzama uba makube khona ukukhanyisa. Ngoko ke uthi ke zingxaki ekufuneka kufikelelwe kuzo futhi kujongwe kuzo zonke iingingqi ezinengxaki kuyafikelelwa kuzo. Enkosi.
Thank you very much. That brings us to the last party on the speakers list. That's the DA. You have 3 minutes.
Thank you very much, Speaker. Speaker, firstly, I'd just like to say that the rain and the disaster that we have experienced over the last week has hit all our areas severely, not just one specific area. And the George municipality has been going out of their way to attend to this in the various areas, not one specific area. I was a bit concerned about some of our councillors saying that there were damaged houses and water damage, etc. But we need to keep in mind that we have 28 ward councillors, and it is the job of the ward councillor to actually make sure that he or she reports all these conditions and incidents. The municipality can only assist if they know about it, and they can only take action if the ward councillors make sure that it is brought to the municipality and officials' attention. A councillor commented that people have to go into town to do their municipal business. Again, if our councillors are out there and assisting, or if official members of the public are making use of our area offices, they should not have to come into George specifically to deal with municipal related issues. I also need to say that, yes, our stormwater held up and our infrastructure held up very well. And this is mainly due to the fact that we had several stormwater projects, upgrading projects that took place in our disadvantaged areas over the last couple of years, with a huge capital investment going into those areas. We spoke about schools. We need to just tell you that in this area alone, there's a need for 21 schools to be built within the next couple of years. But the Western Cape Education Department only has funding for 7. So you can imagine what a strain that is on our budget. I also just need to reiterate that the George municipality has been in conversation with the Education Department, and we are doing everything possible to take hands to address this backlog. Housing was mentioned. Again, housing is a provincial mandate, not a municipal mandate. And we feel for the people that are on the waiting list and have been there for years. But unfortunately, budgetary constraints only allow so many houses to be completed on an annual basis. Then, Speaker, I also just need to comment on the lady that lost her life at Linky's Klip. It really was a harrowing experience. Both myself and the mayor were there quite by chance when it happened. So that is really not a good experience. My heart goes out to her family and her friends who knew her. Then lastly, I once more just need to remind councillors that we do have schools and we do have libraries in most of our, in all of our wards and areas. So we need to be grateful for the fact that we are in the Western Cape and that we have services available for our communities. Yes, maybe we would like another library, but
much. We're just going to continue now. Thank you very much for all that. We're going to move on to the next item on the agenda. And I'm going to ask that Rosemary does the roll call, please. If you can continue with the roll call, please, Rosemary.
Morning, Speaker. Morning, everybody. Councillor Adams.
Hi, says goeiemorgen. Greetings, everyone. I'm present.
Councillor Alexander.
Goeiemorgen, ek is beskikbaar. Dankie.
Councillor America.
Good morning, Rosemary. Good morning, Speaker. Good morning, everybody present.
Councillor Barnard.
Morning, present.
Councillor Brown.
Morning, Rosemary, present.
Councillor Carolus.
Ja, teenwoordig.
Councillor Clark. Councillor Cronje.
Cronje present, mornings.
Councillor Dutoy.
Ek is teenwoordig, Rosemary.
Councillor Esau.
Esau has apologized. He is ill.
Yeah. Councillor E.D. Pifland.
Present and Rose, good morning.
Councillor R.G. Pifland.
RG Paglan present.
Councillor Fry. Alderman Gericke.
Yes, present.
Councillor Gom.
Good morning, colleagues. Present.
Councillor Greer. Councillor Gultik.
Sorry,
Yes,
Rosemary,
an apology.
apologies. Councillor Greef put in a sick note.
Yeah. Councillor Gultik.
Good morning, Councillor Gultik. Present, thank you.
Councillor Hani.
Morning, I'm present.
Councillor Jansen.
Môre teenwoordig.
Councillor Jantjies.
I am, Madam. Good morning.
Councillor Jay.
Present, Rosemary, dankie.
Councillor Johnson.
Good morning, President.
Councillor Kleinans,
Teenwoordig, goeiemôre.
Alderman Kritzinger, Councillor Kruger,
Good morning, I'm present.
Councillor Lento,
Hello, I'm present.
Councillor Losi,
Good morning, Losa is present.
Councillor Lau,
Good morning, President Rosemary.
Councillor Mantlele, Councillor Mbete,
Morning, Maros. Morning, everyone. I'm present.
Councillor
Molweni ukhona, Councillor Manuel ukhona.
Thank you, Councillor E.T. Madaka, Councillor F. Madaka,
I'm present.
Councillor Mrukuli, Councillor Rameli,
Councillor Kukur is present.
what's that now? Councillor Neetlen,
Teenwoordig.
Councillor Niaus,
Councillor Niels teenwoordig, môre.
Councillor
Sorry, Rose,
Ndondini,
did you call me? Councillor Ngamile present.
thank you. Councillor Ndondini, Councillor
Manir Ndondini is present.
Councillor Peterson,
Morning, Rosemary, present.
Alderman Petrus,
Môre collega's, Basil Petrus is teenwoordig.
Councillor Philander,
Goeiemôre almal, teenwoordig.
Councillor Katana,
Morning, colleagues. I'm present.
Councillor Kampi,
Morning, Maros and colleagues. Present.
Councillor Roopse,
Good morning, everybody. Councillor Roos present.
Councillor Cyphers,
Goeiemôre, Rosemary present.
Councillor Simmers,
Goeiemôre, Rosemary. Teenwoordig.
Councillor Smart,
Good morning, Rosemary. I'm present. Thank you.
Councillor Snyman,
Good morning, everybody. I'm present. Thank you.
Councillor Stander,
Councillor Stander is on sick leave, Rose.
Councillor Toto, Alderman Van Kerk,
Goeiemôre, Rosemary, teenwoordig.
Alderman Van Wyk,
Good morning, Rosemary. I'm present. Thank you.
Councillor Von Brandes,
Present, Rosemary, thank you.
Councillor Foster, Councillor Wessels,
I'm present, Rosemary, thank you very much.
Councillor Windwaai.
Ora Rosemary teenwoordig.
Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you very much, Rosemary. The councillors who did not answer their calls to roll call that are having problems with unmuting, please put it in the chat box. However, I must ask that only on your own device will I accept the fact that you are present. You cannot sign in or write a message that you are present on somebody else's device as per the rules of order for this municipality. I'm therefore going to move on. Any other applications for leave, Chief Whip?
Thank you, Speaker. Yes, I think I touched on all of them. Councillors Eso, Greef, and Stander. And then I'm not too sure whether I heard Councillor Lento because he said he was taking leave, but we tried to log in. So Rose can just check that one. Thank you.
Yeah, I'll ask him to put it in the chat box if he is there. If not, then we'll take it as being absent for leave. MM, are there any applications for leave from the administration side?
Morning, Speaker. Morning, everybody. Yes, Mr. Duplessis is on leave. Mr. Wallace is acting in his position. Ms. Waring is away, and Dr. Haroff is acting in her position, and Ms. Moodley is away, and Mr. Guns is acting in her position. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you very much. We therefore conclude the applications for leave of absence. We're going to move on to item 4, disclosure of interest by councillors, item 6 of the Code of Conduct for councillors, and disclosure of benefits by municipal staff members.
I'm in the meeting.
Councillors, please do not open your microphones unless we're spoken to, and I have asked you to put it into the chat box. Thank you. Item 5 of the Code of Conduct for municipal staff members. Are there any councillors or staff members that have anything to declare? I see no hands. I'm therefore moving on to item 5, confirmation of the minutes of the previous meetings. Item 5.1, minutes of an ordinary e-council meeting held on the 25th of August. Do I have a proposer and a seconder, please?
Barnard will propose.
Yeah, second.
Thank you very much. So it's been carried. The next item is item 6, questions of which notice has been given. I have received none. We move on to item 7, 7.1, which is the minutes of the Mayoral Committee held on the 10th of August 2023 for information. Can we have that as noted, please?
Noted, Speaker.
Thank you very much. We move on to item 8.1, reports to the Mayoral Committee held on the 14th of September. The first item there is item 8.1.1. The councillors' accounts in arrears for May 2023. The first person to speak on the item is Councillor Kruger. You have 2 minutes, please.
Good morning, Speaker. Thank you for the opportunity. It's a straightforward item. You'll see there no councillors' account in arrears, so I thus propose. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you very much. There is nobody else on the speakers list. I therefore go over to Councillor Wessels to reply.
I second. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. We move on to item 8.1.2, request for council approval to suspend the monthly billing of all building clause charges. The first person to speak on this item is Councillor Alderman Petrus. You have 2 minutes, please.
Baie dankie, Speaker. Speaker, item as 'n versoek na die raad dat die addisionele heffings en tariewe wat gegeld het in terme van die building clause opgehef word. Hierdie heffing is van toepassing soos dit in die agenda aandui op bladsy 144 as 68 eiendom ter sprake. En die wysiging wat hiermee handel is ook vervat in ons nuwe tariewe beleid, die munisipale tariewe beleid, Speaker. So ek wil voorstel dat die aanbeveling vir die opskorting van die addisionele tariewe op bladsy 143 deur die raad geaanvaar word, Speaker.
Thank you. Could we have a translation, please, Mr. Paulus?
Thanks, Speaker. Uthi ke phale item imalunga nokunqunyanyiswa kwenhlawulo eyenziwayo yerhafu yezakhiwo. Uthi ke phayana ku-144, page 144 no-page 145 iyachazwa khona ke malunga nokubana makunqunyanyiswe inhlawulo ezikhoyo. Uthi ke pha i-recommendation ipha ku-page 143.
Thank you very much. The next person to speak on this item is the PBI. You have 2 minutes, please. Your time starts now.
Môre Speaker, dankie vir die geleentheid. Speaker, die PBI is ten gunste van verligting ten opsigte van tariewe. Maar ons moet egter kyk waar hierdie verligting plaasvind. Wie hierdie begunstigdes is. Ons moet egter seker maak daar's groter deursigtigheid sodat die publiek kan sien wie hierdie begunstigdes is. In hierdie geval met ons erfnommer sonder name. Ons sit ook met gevalle waar die burgemeester in die verlede gespog het met miljoene rande wat geallokeer was na SMME's plaaslik. Ons en ander organisasies wag nog steeds vir terugvoer, sodat ons weet waar daai geld gespandeer was en wie begunstigdes was en hoe dit versprei was. Ons het 'n probleem as verligting of geld net na 'n spesifieke sektor van die gemeenskap gaan. Ons moet egter seker maak dat ons gemeenskappe wat sukkel om te oorleef ook voordeel trek uit verligtingsprogramme en ander donasies. Dankie, Speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Paulus.
Thank you, Speaker. Uthi-ke thina siyi-PPI siyavumelana nomgaqo-nkqubo ngokomthetho wawusiwe ngayo kucweyo, siyavumelana nawo. Kodwa-ke nangona kunjalo, uthi kufuneka kujongwe kakuhle into yobana ngobani na aba bakhe, futhi kufuneka kujongwe uba zezi mali zinqunyanyiswa kubantu abathini nakweliphi na icala, ngoba ingathi kanti kukho abantu abanqunyanyisela imali babe khona abo bantu bebenokwazi okanye bafumana uncedo, kukho abantu abathile abafumana uncedo. Kufuneka zijongwe ke nabantu bethu abahluphekileyo, abantu bethu abangathathi ntweni, imali ezithile zingajongwa kwicala elinye, kodwa ke funeka kujongwe kwinto zonke kuqinisekiswe into yobana abantu bethu abahluphekayo abacinezelwa na. Uthi ke zinkalo zonke ezo bona ekufuneka kuqwalaselwe kuzo. Enkosi.
Thank you very much. The next party to speak on this item is the EFF. You have 1 minute, please. EFF, your time.
What's it, Speaker? Speaker, mandibulise kwakhona. Speaker, thina as EFF asimanga ngamnye ne-recommendation. Support a recommendation, even though sibona ke according to itable ebibekiweyo uba osebhotolweni uzohlala esebhotolweni and ndizawuqinisekisa futhi uba akasuki kuloo bhotolo. Because ke eza recommendation izibeke phaa ziyabonisa ukuthi abantu bakuthi bona egqibele bazaqhubekeka bona bebhatala irhafu abazonqamela, because according to imali ezinkulu ezibekwe phaa ma-750,000 rand ze-building i-value yazo, abantu bethu abapasa abafika nofika phaa. So which means ke ekugqibeleni sawuhlala ke nini abasebhotolweni simane sinidadisa kule bhotolo thina sihlupheka sihlala enkluphekweni. Nkosi, Speaker.
Thank you, Speaker. Greetings from the EFF. Mrs. We as the EFF, yes, we're not against the recommendation. We support it. According to the table that has been listed here, we see that it's obvious that those who are privileged will stay privileged and those who are disadvantaged will stay disadvantaged, because it's obvious that our people, when you look according to the table, those people who are underprivileged will have to pay those fees, but it seems like only those who are privileged will have to live the life of being comfortable in their comfortable zones. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Paulus. The last person to speak on this item is Councillor Losi. You have 1 minute, please.
Thank you, Speaker. Speaker, I second the proposal.
Thank you very much. The item therefore carries. We move on to item 8.1.3, the councillor's accounts in arrears for July 2023. The first person to speak on the item is Councillor Wessels. You have 2 minutes, please.
Speaker, I'll propose as is. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And the last person to speak on this item is Councillor Fry. You have 1 minute, please.
Thank you, Speaker, for the opportunity. Speaker, I would like to second what my colleague, Councillor Basil. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The item therefore carries. We move on to item 8.1.4, which is a stock report. And the first person to speak on this item is Councillor Clark. You have 2 minutes, please. Councillor Clark. I believe she's having problems with her unmuting with the microphone. is Councillor Alexander. Can I ask you to put your microphone off, please? Councillor Alexander. Thank you very much. Chief Whip, is there somebody else that's going to speak on it?
Thank you, Speaker. Speaker, I would like to propose that we accept the recommendation as contained in the item before us regarding the stock report. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. The next person to speak on this item then is the ANC. Councillor Toto, you have 2 minutes.
Thank you, Chairperson. Somlomo thina umbutho wesizwe i-ANC siyayibona le report izapha namhlanje kwaye asiyiboni njengento entle ukuba ngabana kwi-organization inkulu kangaka sibe nee-systems eziphiwa ngolu hlobo apho kuzawukwazi vele kulahleke nje izinto. Imali yabarhafi le. Now ke siyafuna ukucebisa ukuba ngabana amagama afana no stock lost ayingomagama amahle for lo masipala. Siyafuna ukucebisa uba ngabana le department ekuthethwa ngayo mayiqwalaselwe kakhulu ngoba zininzi izinto ezile department ezithengwayo ngemali yabarhafi. Sikwacela kanjalo ukuba ngabana ilizwe litshintshile, izinto zihamba ngokwe-technology, kukho izinto ezi-electronical, mabaqeqeshe abantu abasebenza kula department somlomo kwenzela izinto bazozirekhoda ngohlobo, sikwazi uarchive izinto, singabi nazinto ezilahlekayo somlomo. Asiyo mali yethu lesisebenza ngayo, imali yabarhafi. Le department kwixesha elidlulileyo somlomo sibone siluze staff ngoba kulahleka amafutha emoto, ipetrol ukutsho, nezinye izinto ezithe zabe azifumaneki zibangela abantu baqodo. So siyacela ke somlomo mayithathelwe ingqalelo le department ifane nazo nezinye department zithathele ingqalelo ezifana nezombane namanzi. Siyidinga kakhulu le department. Enkosi.
Thank you, Mr. Polish. You can go ahead.
Thank you, Speaker. We as the ANC, we see the report, but what we can say is that it is not good what we see in this report, because it is not good for such a big organization to have such poor systems in place, because first of all, we must know that these are the taxpayers' money. So we are not using our money, but we are using the taxpayers' money. Therefore, there should be accountability in terms of what is going on. There should be noted what is going on. And secondly, the other thing is, if the world or the systems are changing out there, let this department also change according to technical systems that needs to be introduced, and let the staff be trained according to those systems so that those systems can be put in place. The other thing also made mention was this is also the department that we lost staff members because there was a petrol problem. We were losing a lot of petrol and other things that led to people being dismissed. So that led for people to be dismissed. So this is a department that we also need to treat and take as other departments that are also working in this organization. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The next person to speak on this item is the Good Party. You have 4 minutes, Councillor Lowe.
Thank you, Speaker. The Good Party is deeply concerned at the blatant lack of control and accountability at the stores of this municipality. The amount of more than 700,000 is unacceptable and cannot be explained away by corrective measures, which are clearly inadequate at this point. The recommendation as it relates to the amount above being written off cannot be justified in an open and democratic society where the role of transparency in governance is a cornerstone of our constitutional dispensation. What is not clearly indicated on the agenda item is what consequent management has taken place to combat this loss of public funds. It does not indicate what action was taken against officials responsible for management of the stores. As good, we are requesting this matter be handed to impact for further investigation, and that those responsible for pilfering of municipal assets in brought to book. The vague recommendation that the matter be investigated is not sufficient, and we require more clear directive in that regard. The recommendation must indicate who is intended to prosecute the investigation and by when council can expect an outcome. How is it possible that with controls in place, this municipality is unable to give an account of more than 700,000 rand? What has happened to the record keeping at this premises? Are we to believe the fuel and oil just walked out of the gate without any accounting of usage? In terms of Section 32.2 of the Local Government Municipal Finance Management Act 56 of 2003 and Regulation 74 of the Municipal Budget and Reporting Regulations, a municipality must recover unauthorized, irregular, and fruitless and wasteful expenditure. This matter has been escalating over a period of time and has now reached these inexplicable levels. Funds which could have assisted our communities are unaccounted for. It would be interesting to hear how this asset has been lost. And will the ruling party, the DA, as they normally do, tell us that the municipality receives services and try to write this off? Not under our watch. Should the municipality fail to have the matter investigated, we will have no option but to have the matter handed over to the works for investigation in terms of prevention of corrupt activities. Act 12 of 2004, which criminalizes this time of conduct and creates a duty to report corruptive activities. I thank you, Speaker.
Thank you very much. The last person to speak on this item is Councillor Johnson, and then I believe the mayoral member, the Maker member, has his hand up. And in line with item 17.5, I will allow the Maker member to conclude the discussion. Councillor Johnson, you have 1 minute, please.
Morning. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, this resolution presented this item a prudent step towards fostering transparent accountability and the efficient management of municipal resources. They reflect our solid commitment to maintain fiscal discipline while we ensure that all actions are in strict adherence to the establishment of financial protocols. By addressing surpluses and deficit concisely, we are laying a solid foundation for precise stock and financial management. Additionally, the call for thorough investigation into fuel shortfall demonstrates our resolve in upholding accountability and our continuous pursuit for operational efficiency. By submission of this report to the Financial Committee underscores the importance of robust oversight and collaboration among different arms of our municipal government. Through these resolutions, we are not only affirming our dedication to financial prudence, but also reaffirming our unwavering commitment to the citizens of George to deliver services efficiently and responsibly. Hence, I second these recommendations to continue steering George municipality on the path of fiscal responsibility and operational excellence. I thank you, Speaker.
Thank you very much, Councillor. In line with Rule 17.5, I'm going to allow the Maker member, Councillor Wessels, to finalize this debate, please.
Yeah, thank you very much, Speaker, and I would maybe just like to give some context to what some of the earlier speakers have said. In terms of the store surpluses and deficits, those are physical stock items. You'll see that there's literally only 390 rand and a 336 rand. So that already, I mean, that speaks to very good stock keeping and reporting from all the various departments. We share fully the concerns with regards to the petrol and the oil fuel and those sort of shortages. The bracket that sits under the 714,000, and that's why in the item the councillors will see that the audit section is already busy with the support with the report on the shortages, and that will then come through to the finance committee and ultimately then to council again. I ever want to give more context to this and say that during this torrid time of severe load shedding that this municipality and George citizens have gone through the last couple of months, that this George municipality is continuously delivering services to all these generators that's running to see to it that people have sufficient water capacities, that our systems and our sewerage, that all of those systems run faultless, and to minimize damage to future or to our current infrastructure. So hence, whilst this is a very big concern, delivering those type of service also lead to very difficult circumstances in which this specific department is operating and getting the fuel to those generators, etc. So fully understand the concerns of all the councillors, and it is being addressed, but also, it is a torrid time, and it is a difficult time out there, and this is also a this is also a result of trying to deliver exceptional services to the citizens of George. So that's just maybe some context to it. Thanks.
Thank you, Councillor. With that, we are going to note 18.1.4 has therefore been passed, adopted, and we'll move on to 18.1.5, the acquisition of ARF 19475. George, as part of the measures to upgrade the existing stormwater system in George South to reduce the risk of properties due to the consequence of severe rainfall events. The first person to speak on this item is Councillor van Brandes. You have 3 minutes.
Thank you, Speaker. This forms part of the Municipal Disaster Recovery Grant that we received. As you all can recall, we already bought 2 Hope Street to reduce the risk to properties due to the severe rainfall events. This is to propose the second property that the department will need to erect the proposed detention facility. The property is an open vacant ARF 19475 or 10 Newton Street. The property belongs to Mrs. Watson. We appointed Tutari consultants who did an investigation and came up with the plan to obviously erect a detention facility. An independent valuation was done on the property and was estimated at the value of R956.65 per square meter, which totals a value of 1.28 million. If we look at page 163, we see the vacant ARF 19475. We also see next to it ARF 5189, which is an open municipal ARF, and then 3195, which is the old pump station that has been decommissioned since. If we look at page 164, we see the proposed detention facility. This facility will be empty until rainfall occurs. It will then fill up and slowly release the water till the detention facility is empty again. This was presented to the ward councillor, Councillor Snyman, and ward committee, who was also positive towards the erection of this detention facility. If we look at then page 166 and 167, I therefore recommend the proposals. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, Councillor. The next person to speak on this item is Councillor Toto. You have 3 minutes.
Ngosomlomo. Somlomo siyaqaphela singumbutho wesizwe ukuba intention yona inhle. Cha sinengxaki nendlela eyenzeka ngayo Somlomo. Kukhona indlela esinothi selective approach yokwenza kulo masipala. Ngoba zonke ii-councillors ezikhoyo zoyi-28 zeziwadi zinazo ingxaki ezinje kwezi wadi zethu. Kwezinye indawo kuhlala abantu abadala bade babhubhe somlomo lo masipala exelela uba indlu isezantsi indlela iphezulu. Nayo indlu xa isezantsi indlela iphezulu yayokhiwe ngubani le ndlu? Isemhlabeni kabani le ndlu? Aba bantu baserviswa ngubani in terms of municipality jurisdiction? Now siyacela ke somlomo, ngaske ngalo moya umhle kangaka yenzeka ngayo kule wadi ikhokhelwa nguwe ungusomlomo welibhunga. Yenzeka nakwezinye iwadi le nto. Yenzeka koomapakastop ngoba bakhona abantu bakuthi abasokola kakhulu ukugqitha abo bamhlophe bahlala kwezi ndawo zithambileyo. So siyamcela somlomo uba ngoba iGeorge Municipality mayingeyo abantu abathile. Mayibe ngabantu bonke abahlala kule area yaseGeorge bafumana inkonzo ngokulinganayo. Ngoba le approach inganenza ndithi abantu abamhlophe nibaphatha ngezandla okanye ngeegloves ezimhlophe kunabanye abantu bolunye uhlanga bangekho mhlophe. Siquqe kakhulu nangu noKhouncil uBronwen ndake naye endlini omnye umakhulu omdala ingena amanzi ngenxa yento bangabana amanzi awadibani akho ndawo balekelela kuyo endleleni. Safumana i-excuses zepolicies zalapha kulo masipala. Naw ndiyothuka ipolisi yalo masipala xa inga-aplayiyo kwiwadi yakho ku-apply ii-feelings because of uthi umuntu osandusixelela ngoku ithakazelelwe kakhulu bafile kamnandi abantu bayi-ward committee zakho. Sifila kabuhlungu kwezethu i-ward committees nezinye areas. Sinayo le ngxaki kuzo zonke ezi wadi zilapha, so siyacela uba ingaske the same approach isebenze kuzo zonke. Ndiyabulela, enkosi.
Thank you, Mr. Paulus. Would you translate, please?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. We as the ANC, yes, we see we see the intention behind this item, and yes, it is good. But the problem is the way it is done or the manner in which it is done. It seems like there's a selective approach here when it comes to other areas or to other people, because we are 28 councillors, and most of us in our wards, we have got such houses or we've got such problems. But the thing is, the approach is not the same, or the manner of which it's been handled, it's not the same. Because we see now the way, the manner it was being handled here in this ward that is being led by you, Mr. Speaker. We see it's being handled like spoke about. It seems like white people are being handled with white gloves. That's how careful they are being treated, because there's lots of problems. He also mentioned that he visited another house with one of the councillors, and then there also was water problems in that house, but that problem was not treated the same as in these items. We have lots of problems in our areas, even mentioned Temaletu or Pakastop and other areas. There are also such problems. It seems like the policy of George Municipality only chooses to look or to select certain kinds or types of people to handle with such cases. So what we are saying, let there be the same approach. People must be treated the same. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The next person to speak on this item then is Councillor Camille. You have 1 minute, please.
Enkosi Somlomo. Somlomo nasi EFF ngeba siyayixhasa yona le imbono. Kodwa ke asikwazi uyixhasa ngenxa yezizathu zokuba kuyabonakala lo masipala waseGeorge into yocalucalulo yinto yakhe. Kwiminyaka ke ekhankanyiweyo apha kuthethwa ngo1960 ukwenziwa ke kwezazitomotor zapha kulandawo. Le area ke kuthethwa ngayo. Yenze loo nto leyo ukuthi 64 years utsho ukuthi noko indlela bezifakwe ngenkathalo kuyabonakala ke njengokuba ke zilaste 64 years yonke njengoba kusekhankanywe le minyaka. Kwezi zithu kusandokwenziwa i-development kubonakalisa ukungakhathali kwalo masipala walapha eGeorge, nanjengokuba zithatha nje iminyaka emine ukuya kwemithathu zimoshakale abantu bakuthi bahlale ebugcwayibeni. Now that sifumene ke le recovery lantuza grant.
Thank you, Councillor.
80% yayo yonke kuyabonakala.
Councillor, your time is up. Thank you. You had 1 minute. Your time is up. Thank you. Could we have a translation, please, Mr. Paulus?
Thank you, Speaker. We as the AFF, we could be supporting this item, but we cannot. A reason being, it's obvious that there's discrimination in this George municipality, because to look at this item, these pipes or these water channels were done 1960, which is about 64 years, which means that they were done diligently and they were not giving problem for about 64 years. But in our areas, these new developed areas, we have a problem, which means that they were not diligently done in the manner that those ones that we are referring to in these items were done. So it seems like there is a problem, and the problem is you do not treat people the same. It's there's discrimination in other areas. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The next person to speak on this item is Councillor Alexander. You have 2 minutes.
Goeiemôre Speaker, goeiemôre collega's van my. Geachte Speaker, baie dankie vir die geleentheid om op hierdie item te kan praat. Ja, dit is duidelik dat daar iets agter hierdie goedkeuring van hierdie item skuil. Speaker, daar is 'n verslag aan die Section 8 BFI Capital Projects Komitee voorgelê dat slegs George Site is wat tydens die vloede van 2020 die eerste getref is. Daar is voorstel dat die consultant wie se verslag finaal was feitlik hy is op baat van die grant wat deur die national government gegee is. Die consultant se verslag is van alle waarheid ontbloot, want daar is wyke soos Port Stembalete, Pakkersdorp, Blanco, Rosemont, wat almal negatief geïmpakteer is deur hierdie vloede van 2020. So ons as die PA kan ongelukkig hierdie item nie steun nie. So ons dankie dat ons hier kan praat het, maar ek dink daar moet gekyk word aan ons areas wat ook deur hierdie storms benadeel is, al ons minder bevorderde areas, and I thank you.
Thank you very much. Can we have a translation, please?
Thank you, Speaker. Uthi ke yabulela kakhulu. Uthi ke icacile into bana ikhona into esemva kwale item, ngoba uthi xa kujongwa uthi bicacisiwe phaa kulaa committee, section 80 committee, apho ke kwachaza into bana kuzawusiwa ke i-agent apho izawuthi iyokwenza uvavanyo okanye uhlalutyo lwengingqi ijonge ingxaki. Uthi ke yabuya kodwa zikhona iingingqi ezinjengeBodgers neThemba Lethu apho nazo zaye zane-negative impact ngenxa yee-floods zango-2020 okanye zathi zane-negative impact ngenxa yee-floods zango-2020. Uthi ke nathi asikwazi uvumelana nalo mba ngoba icacile into yokubana akujongwa ngokulinganayo, futhi nakwindawo akujongwa kwiindawo zethu zabantu esihlala kuzo, kwiindawo zabantu abangathathi ntweni, ngoba kwanqulente kubuywe into yobana kuthiwe makulungiswe iindawo ezithile, kodwa ezithile iindawo nazo eziye zachaphazeleka ngelaa xesha zingakhankanywa. Ngoko kubona abayixhasi ke le item. Nkosi.
Thank you very much, Mr. Paulus. The next person to speak on this item is Councillor Jay. You have 1 minute, please.
Speaker, ja, as dit Jay? Yes. Thank you, Speaker. Nee, Speaker. Ek sal net vra die raad die afskrywing sal aanvaar soos voorgestel in die aanbeveling. Dankie.
Thank you very much. Can we have a translation?
Thank you, Speaker. Uthi ke uzawuqala into yobana ingcebiso okanye isindululo samkele njengoba zichaziwe kulo mba. Enkosi.
Thank you very much. I see that the Maker member, Councillor van Branders, has got her hand up as per item 17.5. Councillor, you may conclude this debate, please.
Thank you, Speaker, for this opportunity. I just want to bring a point of clarity. On the 7th of September, we did a special deputation in the Section 80 of Civil Engineering Services Capital Projects to explain that this only forms one of the projects, which is just about 60 mil, and we received over 200 million for this disaster funding. And a lot of projects is also in Pakkersdorp, Themba Lethu, and as Councillor Smart also knows, there was a project there, the barricades in Rosemont. So this is only one of the projects and not the only projects that we are doing. Thank you very much, Speaker.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillors, I see the other two hands. However, in accordance, I have said that it's in accordance to item 17.5 of the Rules of Order. The debate on this is therefore finalized. We have had it seconded, and it was merely for clarity purposes that the maker member is permitted to clarify the debate. Thank you very much. We're going to move on to item 8.2, reports to Special Mayoral Committee held on the 21st of September. The first item is 18.2.1, human
Mr.
settlements.
Speaker, sorry.
Alderman
Mr. Speaker.
Alderman Gericke, I have
Do
explained.
you know why my hand is up?
No,
Do you know why my hand is up?
Alderman, I don't know why your hand is up, but I don't see anything in the chat box, and therefore I'm not
No,
recognizing
but I
your...
mean, you try to answer the
Yes,
question. You don't know why our hands are up. We don't need to write in the chat box. We need to speak to you.
Alderman, I'm not going to get into a debate on this once again. The rules of order are pretty clear, and I'm not going to be challenged today. I'm in a pretty good mood.
You are suppressing debate. You are
I am not
suppressing debate. You
suppressing
don't want the opposition to speak. But you
Alderman,
allow the
you
DA councillors
have-
to speak, but you don't allow us.
Alderman, I'm going to ask you to please put your hand down and put your microphone off.
No, but you cannot suppress us the way you're doing it.
Alderman, I'm not going to get into a debate on this.
But you are doing it wrong, Mr. Speaker. You
I am
cannot do this all the time.
Alderman, it has already been
You are
seconded.
allowing the DA
Alderman-
councillors to do what they want to in this meeting.
Alderman, it is pretty clear that you obviously have not read your rules of order, and I'm going to report it back as well. The rules of order are clear on debate management. Every person has the right to speak. Your time on the speakers list has been allocated. 17.5 of the rules of order are clear, and I read it to you, and I will read it for purposes. At the discretion of the speaker, a time of 10 minutes of response may be allowed to the mayor or relevant member of the mayoral committee or relevant committee or the mover of the motion to conclude the debate on an item debated in terms of 17.1. I am therefore strictly in accordance with the rules of order. I am not going to get into a debate, and I will not entertain this any further. You are welcome to take this up in a dispute after the fact, but this meeting will continue with 8.2 as said, and I'm therefore going to continue this meeting in an orderly fashion. The item next on the agenda is 8.2.1, Human Settlements Planning and Development Neighborhood Development Partnership Project, Timberletu Node. And the first person to speak on this item is Councillor Wessels, and I'm going to unmute the microphones, and we are going to continue with this meeting. Thank you. Councillor Wessels, you may continue.
That's why
Thank
you
you.
like this visual, Mr. Speaker. You want to suppress us like that because the chat box doesn't
Councillor
work.
Nkamile, I'm now going to warn you. I have asked you quite clearly. We are continuing with this meeting. I put it clearly to you. Once again, you have taken it upon yourself to disrupt this meeting, and I'm now going to give you the first warning at exactly 10:32 of disrupting the meeting. And item 28.2.7, disregard any instructions ruling of the speaker. Your first warning is now officially being given to you. I ask you to put your hand down and you continue with this meeting. Councillor Wessels, please continue.
Hi, Speaker. Thank you very much. Yes, Speaker, so this extremely exciting item is in front of us, and the compilation of this Ilisuletu development framework was a 10-month process where the context and the technical details relating to the Themba-Letu CBD was thoroughly analyzed. So the item in front of us is to obtain council support for the recommendations of the Ilisuletu development framework. and to obtain council's support for the initiation of the preparation of the phased implementation of the neighbourhood development partnership project in the Thembalethu node. The development framework, Speaker, consists from a development plan, the area management strategy, and the investment plan. And the National Treasury will be providing the funding for the technical assistance for the development of this framework. Speaker, it's quite a hefty item, and I really would like to thank the department for the extremely thorough and good work and long hours that they've put into this. And I also want to want to thank the Thembalethu councillors. Director Waring specifically said that that we received quite a lot of input and from all the councillors, and you know this shows what can happen if we work together. This is a very exciting item, and I hope that council is excited with me. And with that, I will propose the recommendations as per the agenda. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Councillor. The next person to speak on this item is the ANC. Councillor Toto, you have 4 minutes, please. ANC, you have 4 minutes. Do you have a speaker on the item, or can we proceed?
Can you hear
please?
me speak?
Now I can hear you. Thank you. You may proceed. Your time has
Speaker?
started. I can hear
Speaker?
you. You may, Councillor Toto, I can hear
Yes,
you.
sir.
You may proceed. Your 4 minutes has started.
Okay. Sembutho wesizwe sikhwayithile leli phuhliso luzayo. Sifuna ukuqala senze ilizwi lombulelo kwi-officials ezisebenza ngalo mcimbi. Sifuna ukuthi somlomo nje besichwayitile nje asichwayitanga sicimele, sichwayite sivula amehlo ngoba umyinge wemali karhulumente ezawusetyenziswa apha kule project mkhulu kakhulu. Yanga ke Speaker nento ezawuphuma ngenxa yale mali, because zininzi ezi project ziza kwenzeka ngolu hlobo besithetha ngalo iSpeaker singaphambili sokuba inkulu le item. Now ibonisa ubukhulu bomsebenzi oza kwenzeka. Now ke somlomo njebe uphuhliso lusiza liza namathuba emisebenzi, liza namathuba engqesho, liza nethuba zoshishino kubantu bakuthi. So siyacela ke somlomba okanye siyayichazela namhlanje i-council uba ngolo hlobo sithe sanikezela ngalo inkxaso ekusebenzisaneni ne-engineering companies ezisebenza kule project nokuyigada ke somlomo kuzawufana. Siza kwenza sure ukuthi somlomo ngolu hlobo senza sure ngalo ukuthi iyaqhubeka sinika inkxaso nathi abantu bakuthi bayaxhamla kuzo zonke into besendizibalile. Ingqesho, amathuba ezoqeqesho, amathuba ezoshishino, namathuba oba ngabana kule management strategy kuthethwa ngayo nabantu bakuthi must form part of the management team yala ndawo somlomo. Ngoba somlomo sinethemba lokuthi ayizuphelela phaa ngoba ithemba lethu indawo enhle kakhulu somlomo. Xa ugqithela usiya ngemva iye ibe nayo into ebumehlo elixobe ilwandle. Sinethemba ke somlomo nangolo hlobo napha ngemva sizawuphuhlisa ukwenzela uba nabo bantu bahlala phaa bayive le nto didibanise ithemba lethu nePakasdorp nezinye areas somlomo through uphuhliso lolu hlobo. Siyathemba kakhulu ke somlomo uba sizawuphathisana, sizawusebenzisana. Apho singaboni ngasonye khona sizawucaciselana. Sizawuthemba ke somlomo umoya ophantsi kubasebenzi bakamasipala abasebenza ngale project uzawuhlala uphantsi naxa singaziyo abazosivalela sandla bazasinika ithuba loba masibuze sifumanane ngolu hlobo sisebenza ngalo. Ingakumbi ke somlomo kumathuba ezemali kubantu bakuthi somlomo. Akuzulunga somlomo abantu bakuthi sibaphathe njengamadada. Idada liyangena emanzini liphume lomile. Leni project ifleka somlomo xa siphuma pha noko sibabona abantu bakuthi siyakwazi ubala uba obani kuthiwa noko banazi inkulungwane bathe baqhamla kule project waliliso eligama liso somlomo salikhethe ngelo hlobo le project izawusijongela yonke into eqhubeka ethemba lethu izawusijongela uba kungabikho ndlala kungabikho rhwaphilizo ethemba lethu kungabikho kubulalana ethemba lethu ngoba le project izawuza namathuba oba masithi siphuhlise nale nto kuthiwa i-security yethu nendalo le siphila kunye nayo izawuphuhla kule project. Abantwana bethu somlomo noko siyathemba abazawukhula belahla inkukuma bazayibonela ithuba elibhetere. Enkosi somlomo. Xa sibambisene somlomo singenza lukhulu.
Together we can do more.
Thank you. Could we have a translation, please?
Thank you, Speaker. Well, we as the ANC, we are very much excited about this project. And first of all, we'd like to send a vote of thanks to the officials that we are working on this project, the officials that we've been working hand in hand with. We just want to express our vote of thanks for the great work that we are busy doing. We are, as much as we are happy, we will not be happy closed eyes. We will be happy whilst our eyes are open, because we will be watching this project, because this is a huge project, and the grant funding or the money that is coming from the government that will be funding this project is a lot of money. Therefore, we are going to be looking and watching over this project because, as the previous speaker has already said, in this project, there's a lot of projects. It's a big project within this project. So it's supposed to develop our community, not just develop our community, but create job opportunities, business opportunities for our people, and develop Thembalethu, because the councillor mentioned that as we are supporting this project, the people that we worked with, or the officials that we worked with, as we were working with the officials, we'd like them to know that we will be watching them. And whenever we've got queries, especially regarding finances, they should just be diligent with us and know that we will be very inquisitive when it comes to this project, because this project comes to develop our community. And as you are looking at Thembalethu, Thembalethu is a huge township, not just a front part, but right at the back. If you can carefully see, there's actually an eye that views straight to the ocean, that links the ocean. So with this project, we aim to sort of integrate Pakasdorp, the backside, and Thembalethu to be one. So this is quite a big project. As I've already mentioned, that he said they will be looking very close, because this not only comes to develop the community, but it must leave an impact to our people, because people must be skilled, their businesses must be developed, and of course, job creation for our people. So it will teach our children as well not to just throw or to litter, but they should just be responsible. So we are very much grateful for this project. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you very much, Mr. Paulus. The next person to speak on this item is the EFF. You have 1 minute, please.
Wesomlomo asizuba bade thina si-EFF siyayixhasa oluphuhliso luzawube lisiza phe Thembalethu, kwaye ke sifuna ukuthi ke thina sizawube silelo liso nathi ukwenzela uba iproject le ibe impumelelo, ngokuthi ke ixhamla abantu bakuthi, kwaye ke iqhubeke ngendlela. Nee-contract ezizawuthi zi-appointwe apho sizazijonga, sizazibukela imehlo okokuba ingabi ngabangani benu abangenazo ke i-qualification zokuthi ke ziphumeze le project ibe impumelelo kubantu bakuthi, kwaye ke ihlale ixesha elide iyimpumelelo. Kwaye ke thina siyi-EFF sifuna ukuthi ke sibulela kakhulu ke ku-National Treasury. Sizawuthi ke thina sibe zizecurity ke zale project ke singumbutho ke we-EFF. Somlomo ke ndicinga uba avakele, kwaye ke khawuyeke usibhulisha mani, masibuyeleni ekhansileni kwii-chambers. Ngumasipala waseGeorge wodwa ongekhoyo phaa kuwo kuzwelonke, yinto oluyibalekayo.
Thank you, Councillor. Your time is up. Mr. Pollis, please take note of the comment
Thank you,
in the
Speaker.
chat. Just
We as AFF, we are.
Mr. Pollis, I need you to take note of the message in the chat box. I would suggest that somebody contacts the councillor. He says he has a problem with the way that you're translating. I don't want to get into a debate about it, but please, just could somebody contact the councillor, but you can continue with your translation, please.
Thank you, Speaker. We as the EFF, we are in full support of this project because as the latter speakers already said, this project is going to benefit our communities at large, and our people have to benefit. We want to say we'll also be an eye over this project because this project is supposed to come and develop our communities. So we are going to be watching very carefully every move and everything that is going to happen in this project, because we do not want your friends who are not qualified to handle this project to come and take over this project so that our people cannot benefit, but we want our people and our communities to be developed. So we just, as the EFF, we want to say thank you very much to the National Treasury, and we want to say we will be the security over this project so that we can see the fulfillment of its purpose. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The last person to speak on this item is Councillor Mbete. You have 2 minutes.
Mandibulise Speaker. Speaker, sizoba ngathi ndithetha into enye nezinye izithethe ezisandokwehla. Iprojekthi intle, inkulu, futhi abantu okanye abahlali basethemba lethu ndiyathemba baza kuyivuyela kakhulu. Ndaba ndenza nganto uba anawubulela umasipala we-DA ukuthi xa ufika imali akwazi ukuthi makayabe ngendlela efunekayo, enze le nto kufuneka eyenzile, aphuhlise ithemba lethu. Ndibulele ke ne-department nazo zonke i-stakeholders ezawuthi ziphathisane ngale project. Ngaloo mazwi ke Speaker, ndiyalixhasa uphuhliso lweliso lethu elizayo ithemba lethu. Enkosi.
Thank you very much, Speaker. I will be sounding like I'm repeating everything that the latter speakers have already said. But first of all, I would like to say thank you very much to the DA-led municipality for seeing the opportunity that when they receive funding, that they should be developing our communities, which is the Thembaletu. Thank you very much. And with those words, I want to say, yes, this is a huge project and it's a big project that will develop our community. So with those words, I want to say I support the item. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The item is therefore carries. The next item on the agenda is 8.2.2, the Human Settlements Planning and Development Hwaeng Mixed Use Precinct. The first person to speak on this item is Councillor Wessels. You have 4 minutes.
Thank you very much, Speaker. And as per the previous item, I think councillors should also be watching over this project because it's also a very catalytic project for George, and also a project that is very exciting. So this item is to inform the council of the progress that we've made in the planning of the project adjacent to the Hwaeng wastewater treatment works, and to obtain then ultimately council's approval to proceed with the land with the environmental and the land use management applications for the Hwaeng mixed use precinct.
Councillor Alderman Gericke, your microphone is on, please.
Apologies, Speaker.
Councillor, you may proceed.
Obviously, Alderman Gericke is also very excited. Yes, Speaker, so on page 817, under point number 7, the councillors will see, and it's also in the technical report under Annexure A, we'll see the breakdown of the various land use descriptions, which includes group housing, apartment housing, it includes business and retail use, public facilities like creches and religious centers, And Speaker, Council will note that this is something that this coalition was from the onset very serious about when we said that we are government that will continue to create opportunity for our people. The budget has been reserved within the Human Settlements and Development Planning Department to proceed with the technical processes. So, Speaker, without any further ado, I would like to propose that the concept plan for the mixed-use precinct be supported, and that the Director for Human Settlements Planning and Development be mandated to proceed with the procurement process to appoint the service providers to complete the required technical steps and obtain approval for the environmental impact assessment and the rezoning of the site. And with that, I will propose. Thank you very much, Speaker.
Thank you, Councillor. The next person to speak on this item is the ANC. Councillor Hani, you have 1 minute.
Good morning, Speaker and the fellow councillor. Speaker, we as ANC request a
Councillor, sorry, I need to interrupt you. You are very soft. You need to speak closer to the microphone. For some reason, we can hardly hear you.
We as ANC will request a proper. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Let me start again. We as ANC, we ask, we request a proper presentation for this item, plus a public participation. And also, we want to know that this project is going to benefit all disadvantaged communities. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor. The last person to speak on this item is Councillor Kleinhans. You have 2 minutes.
Speaker, thank you very much for the opportunity to speak on this item. To second, actually, my colleague's proposal, Speaker, one thing that we must bear in mind, Speaker, is that the Democratic Alliance-led coalition have in their mind to create an environment conducive to economic growth. Economic growth then, thereby, Speaker, will create jobs and opportunities, as my council of the ANC has now alluded to. The function of government as a local government is to make sure that bulk infrastructure is available to do such developments. As in the item, I've read through this item, Speaker, and it is definitely clear that the department have done their homework. They have made sure, Speaker, that the bulk infrastructure is available. And really, Speaker, this is one of the things that we must applaud the department for forward thinking, making sure that developments like this do happen and that our people will have opportunities to get job opportunities and also economic opportunities. I would therefore also would like to thank the executive mayor for taking lead in this developments and making sure that we govern George to the best of our ability, that we govern George without any corrupt activities, and if there is corrupt activities, that we deal decisively with that. Speaker, I therefore would like also to applaud our administration for this and the forward thinking of not just only waiting for things to happen, but taking the lead. I therefore second the proposal made by Councillor Wessel. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you very much, Councillor. I apologize. I seem to have accidentally put my microphone on. I apologize for that. I have now switched my camera, sorry. I've now switched it off. That item therefore is concluded with the seconder, and it is therefore carried. Councillors, we move on to item 9. Minutes of the Municipal Public Accounts Committee impact for information. We have received none. Item 10 is reports to Municipal Public Accounts Committee impact. We've received none. We therefore move on to item 11.1, which is reports to Council, adjustment budget. And we are going to ask that the Executive Mayor please carries this item into Council.
Thank you, Speaker. It is indeed a privilege to be able to table this adjustments budget. This relates to
Sorry, Mayor. Councillors, I'm going to ask you to please mute your microphones and stay in control of them, that the Mayor can continue with his tabling of the adjustment budget. Mayor, please proceed.
Thank you, Speaker. As I indicated, this is an adjustments budget that relates to a grant being that we received from the Western Cape Government, the Emergency Municipal Load Shedding Relief Grant of 14.22 million that we've received. We then applied for a rollover effect of the amount of money that could then not be spent by the end of June. And we have followed Regulation 23 of the Municipal Budget and Reporting Regulations in doing so. This rollover has now been approved, and accordingly, we are adjusting our budget where we had previously allocated a similar amount of money under our CRR, our Capital Replacement Reserve, and the funding now coming from the grant received from the Western Cape Government. Now, this grant relates to generators that are going to be deployed at Uniondale, Harlem, and Kleinkrans, and in a number of cases it relates to waterworks and others to wastewater treatment works, where these grants are going to be these generators are going to be installed, and also in relation to the Otonikwa wastewater treatment works, which requires generators for operating when there is load shedding. It is also important for Council to note that we've already spent an amount of 32 million rand on generators in the past financial year and in the previous financial year. And this is now a further 13-14 million that we'll be spending on generators. So it is a considerable amount of money that we've invested and had to invest in generators to ensure that our waterworks and our wastewater works can continue to operate during periods of load shedding. So I accordingly table the budget so that we can undertake the spending in the next few months before the end of this financial year. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, Alderman van Wyk. The first person to speak on this item is Councillor van Branders. You have 3 minutes.
Thank you, Speaker. As mentioned by the Mayor, this item seeks approval to accommodate changes in the grant funding and the approval of the rollover application for the unspent grant. George Municipality applied to Provincial Treasury to roll over the unspent conditional grants for the 22-23 financial year. Permission was granted by Provincial Treasury on the 17th of August to utilise these funds in the 23-24 budget, as stated in Annexure A on page 902. On page 899, you will see the proposed adjustments to the Emergency Municipal Load Shedding Relief Grant of the just over 12.8 million. I therefore propose the recommendation on page 900 A to C. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, Councillor. The next person to speak on this item is Councillor Honey. You have 3 minutes.
Good morning, Speaker. Speaker, singumbutho siyakunota umba wale budget ne roll over. Kodwa ke into emangalisayo kungachithwa kwemali kwinto edibenisene nombane. Siyayazi indaba yombane is a crisis, but ndiyabona apha kule budget khange ichithwe imali nge-12 million rand ekufanele ichithiwe ngisene nombane. So nale nto ayimenshinayo umeya athi zinto ezakwenziwa kwezi dolophu zonke kwi-region nakumaphandle oma-Uniondale. Kodwa ke sithi sizaziqwalasela zonke izinto uba ziyenziwa na, ingabi into nje ethethwayo ingalandelelwa. For instance, besanakuphuma kwinto ze-disaster nangoku apha ethemba lethu nakwezinye areas, but indawo emenshinayo
Sorry,
I
Councillor,
mention as a doubt. Sorry.
you're
Can you hear me,
breaking up.
Speaker?
You were breaking up, that's all.
Yes.
And
Sithi ke sizayiqwalasela kakhulu Mayor ile nto roll over ukuthi iyawenza na umsebenzi wawo webudget. Enkosi.
Councillors, I would be very careful when you leave your microphones on.
Hayi bom.
Councillors, please. Can we have the translation, please?
Thank you, Speaker. But in the last part, the councillor was breaking, so I couldn't get to the exact last part. But he said, as the ANC, we note the rollover budget. What is very surprising to us is that there's about 12 million that was not spent, which was on electricity. But we know that we've got problems with the electricity, so we are very much surprised to know that there's a rollover of such an amount. We'll be watching now the outside town developments, as the Mr. Mayor has already said or alluded. That the money is going to be spent in those towns. So we are going to be watching such projects so that money can be spent accordingly. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The next person to speak on this item is Councillor Peterson. You have 2 minutes.
Mr. Speaker, is it me?
That's correct, sir.
Okay. Mr. Mayor, the tabled adjustment budget refers. We noticed that the rollover for funding for the relief of load shedding was approved. The electricity crisis in our country is dire, and this is one of the campaign items on the DA's agenda. Yet, the DA Rand municipality was not able to utilize the funds received to alleviate the impact for the citizens of the roads. Our question now remains, Mr. Mayor, will the monies allocated be spent with the approval that was granted? Mr. Mayor, MMC for Finance states this in his reply on the stock report, but muddied waters even further. Mr. Mayor, we further notice in the letter sent by the provincial department that conditions attached to this rollovers is tough. Surely those rollovers for the different departments should reflect in the percentage allocations for the performance bonuses for the different directors and the MM. If monies are not spent and grants are rolled over, surely this must reflect in performance bonuses paid out. Mr. Mayor, the impact of these rollovers on service delivery cannot be ignored. A huge media campaign was run on the amount of money that was received to upgrade the water network. Yet a big chunk of these monies are rolled over every year as the targets in the SDBIP cannot be reached. Surely this equates to bad planning and bad project management and needs to be addressed. Surely someone needs to man up and take the blame for this situation. Furthermore, Mr. Mayor, funds are received late during the financial year with no realistic chance of being spent during the financial year, only to be rolled over at the end of the financial year. The effect of fiscal dumping on the budget needs to be taken into consideration. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. The next person to speak on this item is the Good Party, Councillor Philander. You have 2 minutes.
Thank you, Speaker. I'm using Councillor Lowe's device because mine just automatically restarted now. Speaker, today we must again deal with the rollover of funds, which is earmarked to address the basic needs of our communities. 12 million is a huge amount that can resolve a number of issues faced by our people living on the outskirts of this municipality. What is not explained, though, how these funds will be spent, where these funds will be spent, as the recommendations state and the SDBIP must still be amended. What type of planning has gone into this adjustment and will be seeing other requests for a rollover at the end of this financial year? According to the Western Cape, they too are hoping that the funds are fully spent over this financial year. What this rollover represents is a lack of service delivery and the upliftment of our communities who still struggle with the very basic needs that have not been met. As good, we will request a copy of the amended SDBIP to ensure that funds are actually spent where allocated. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you very much. The next person to speak on this item is then Councillor Nkumile. You have 1 minute.
Inkosi Somlomo. Thina si-EFF siyayikhaba kakhulu ke adjustment budget le njengokuba ke sezithethile ke izithethi apha phambi kwami ukuthi ke ayikho clear indlela echazwe ngayo ukuthi zonke ezimali zizawusetyenziswa entweni, zizawuya ngaphi, ukwenzela ukuba siyazi ukuthi kayingenzekiyo into ethile kungenxeni yezizathu ezithile. So sizama ukuthi ke indaba ye-achievement of target kulo masipala walapha eGeorge ayondaba ithathelwa ingqalelo, whereby siyazi ukuthi ke i-target zethu zonke sizi-achievile ezi ngokwezicwangciso ebezibekiwe. Kwaye Mr. Speaker, sithi let's go back to the chambers, man. It's been a long time now.
Councillor, please stick to the point. Thank you.
You are enjoying this visual.
Councillor, please stick to the
It's
point.
the only
Thank you.
municipality that is doing
Councillor,
visual.
I'm going to give you. Councillor, please stick to the point. Thank you. Your time is up. Can we please have a translation?
Thank you, Speaker. We as the EFF, we are not in full support of this item, as the latter speakers have already alluded. It is not quite clear, or it is not clear on the ways this has been tabled, or as to where are the funds going, or where are the funds being used. It is clear that in this municipality, achievement of target is always not met. So we do not know what is the purpose, because target is always not met. Thank you.
Thank you. The next person to speak on this item is Councillor Smart. You have 2 minutes.
Thank you, Speaker. Speaker, I'm not going to bore you with, with almost exactly the same type of response from my colleagues. So I see the mayor's hand is up. What is important, though, is to see where the money or where the funds will going to, and if there is no direction, I believe that there is some direction, but then that money or funds must be distributed, if I can put it this way, equally to where we have service delivery challenges, especially electricity. We must do something about it. I know it is a big challenge, but I believe we are praying for stability in our country. We are praying for stability in our towns, even for our suburbs, streets, and our homes. And I believe that really that God will make a way, but as always, God will make a way through us. And I believe that the mayor got some responses. So let me listen to what he has to say. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, Councillor. The last person to speak on this item is Councillor Wessels. You have 1 minute.
Thank you, Speaker. Speaker, these were grants that George Municipality applied for, and monies that we only received late in the year, hence the rollover request. And these are not generators that we purchase that you just get off a shelf. These are massive generators, especially for the Taniqua wastewater treatment works, and these SEM processes has quite a long lead time. The Kleinkrant, Uniondale, and Harlem generators should be in place by next month. And I think council should be excited that we are actually alleviating the load shedding problem. So while Councillor Peterson is plodding around in the muddy water, this government will continue to serve the people of George and to see that we get this economy going. So I'll second the recommendation. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Once again, in accordance with item 17.5 of the rules of order, I'm going to allow the mayor to end this debate. Mayor, you may answer those questions.
Thank you very much, Speaker. I think just to provide clarity to the councillors, and I think to some extent they already provided some clarity in their speeches. The reality of what we're dealing with, as Councillor Wessels has indicated, these are not generators that one buys off the shelf. From the water treatment works, Harlem will be getting 150 kVA diesel generator, Uniondale a 200 kVA, and then at the wastewater treatment works, Uniondale also needs a 200 kVA, Kleinkrans needs a 300 kVA, and at the Outeniqua wastewater works, it's 1,000 kVA, which is a big brute of a machine. It is 2/3 of the size of one of the generators that we have at the Garden Route Dam. So it's a massive generator. And then there's also a 650 kVA one that also needs to go to the Outeniqua wastewater works. So those, that's about the generators. In terms of the procurement, the procurement process has been completed, except for at the Outeniqua works, where we are now in the final appeal period. So that should be concluded in the next week or two. And so there's construction that's between 50, 60% and 80% are all of those generators other than the Outeniqua one. Then if we look at Harlem, Uniondale and Kleinkrans, the generators that are going in there is of the order of 5.2, 5.3 million rand. So that has all been, there's construction work that needs to take place. So they've got to stand on a base, there's site preparation, there's cabling that needs to be done. So those at Harlem, Uniondale, Kleinkrans should all be completed by roughly the end of next month. And then at Outeniqua wastewater treatment works, that is 7.1 million rands worth of generator, excluding VAT. And that process, the delivery and the installation and testing and commissioning should be done by March next year. So that's also already underway. So those are those generators, and that is these are items that we critically need in terms of load shedding, that we can operate those both the waterworks and the wastewater works in service of our community. Thank you very much, Speaker.
Very much. We therefore conclude that item, and that item therefore is carried, and we move on to item 11.2, the approval of the raising of the long-term loan to fund the capital budget. The first person to speak on this item is Alderman van Wyk. You have 3 minutes, please.
Thank you, Speaker. In terms of our capital funding and our capital budget funding, each year there's an allocation between funds that we have from an own use point of view, from the CRR. There's an element from grant funding, and then there's an element of debt funding that gets raised. So this is the finalization of the amount of debt of the loan that we need to take up, and this loan has then been separated into a category of infrastructure assets, where we have procured a 15-year loan of just over 174 million rand, and then also a separate loan for transport assets of 41 million rand, roughly, which the transport assets obviously being for our vehicles and for our fleet. So that's a total of 215 million that worth of loans that we need to undertake to fund our capital. And so this is then the recommendation is that we then accept these debt agreements. In the case of infrastructure assets, it's from Nedbank have made that loan available at 11.99% per annum, and the Absa Bank has made the transport asset loan available of 10.39% per annum. So obviously that comes out of the supply chain process. that those were the most competitive loans that we have procured there. So I accordingly propose that we conclude these debt agreements that are available for us. Thank you very much, Speaker.
Thank you. The next person to speak on this item is Councillor Honey. You have 2 minutes.
Molo Somlomo wakhona. Somlomo. Bizawutha kanslani?
Councillors, please. Can we continue with the item? Councillor Honey, your time has started already. You have 1 minute and 50 seconds left.
Molo Somlomo. Ndiye ndangama kakhulu. Somlomo. Singumbutho siyayiqwalasela lento le budget nale grant le capital budget kuthethwa ngayo apha. Siyacela ke singaske yenze lamatyala kuthe uye wabhatala. Sinoloyiko kuba lo nyaka uzayo uyavotwa kungathathwa ezimali kuthiwa zobhatala amatyala sisetyenziselwe kwenye into yokukhampeyina for unyaka ozayo. Otherwise ke siyayixhasa kakhulu le mbono.
Thank you. Have you concluded? Sorry.
Thank you, Speaker. We see this item, but yes, we ask that this debt should be paid. We have a fear that this money should not be taken for campaign purposes because we are facing the elections next year. So we have fear that this money should not be taken and used for campaign purposes as of then paying the said debt. But we are in full support.
Thank you very much, Ms. Paulus. The next person to speak on this item is Councillor Peterson. You have 2 minutes. Councillor Ntondini. Sorry, Councillor Peterson. Councillor Ntondini, I'm going to give you your first warning regarding your microphone. This is now the 3rd time that your mic has been unmuted while somebody is talking. Please control your microphone. Thank you, Councillor Peterson. You may continue.
Mr. Mayor, the George citizens cannot afford another loan. This is going to cause a revolt amongst the citizens. This practice is unfair and the DA government is plunging this town or smart city into a major crisis. Mr. Mayor, the item that serves before council aims to place a financial burden on ratepayers of George. We noticed that the amount requested reduced from the initial amount that was sought during May 2023. We, however, do not understand the haste in which this is done. Why must loans payable over 15 years and 5 years be taken up when all the monies will not be spent as was the case in the previous financial year? We noticed that more than 40 million is earmarked for loans for vehicles, yet no more than 2 years ago, the PBI uncovered that many vehicles were not repaired for a long period at one of the service providers. This exercise led to the previous director for that department to leave the employ of council. Our question now is, are we prepared for new vehicles being purchased, as we are informed that there are problems within the fleet management section? Mr. Mayor, we cannot overburden our ratepayers with long-term loans and interest payable to further a specific agenda. The generations after us will be paying off these loans while we could have paid a plan for these expenses. You are overloading the ratepayers with exorbitant loans and repayments at high costs under the auspices of service delivery. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor. The next person to speak on this item is Councillor Philander. You have 2 minutes.
Thank you, Speaker. We understand that municipalities may incur long-term debt to fund property, plant or equipment. What is not clear is that we are using these borrowed funds to purchase assets, which are not clearly stated. What exactly are infrastructure assets to be purchased over 15 years? How will these assets be procured and who will be procuring these assets? Another is the transport asset, which has the same question attached to it. Spend how exactly this loan over the next 15 years and what will be purchased with these funds, which is repayable by the public. This municipality must take its residents into its confidence and explain how those loans will be used over the next 15 years and how will these assets be procured. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you very much, Councillor. The next and last person to speak on this item is Councillor Wessels. Councillor Wessels, you have 1 minute.
Hi, thank you, Speaker. Yes, I think the mayor's covered most of it. I'm unsure of some of the comments from some of the opposition parties. Annex B clearly states the infrastructure that is to be upgraded and used by these loans. It is existing stormwater, upgrade of roads. The projects are clearly listed there. So it is. I can ensure the ANC councillor that this is not necessarily debt. These are all linked to projects to ensure that we deliver excellent services to the citizens of George. So whilst the PBI might be making mention of some stuff, these are essential services to ensure that service delivery can continue at a high standard to all the citizens and residents of George.
Thank you, Councillor.
I just want to second the recommendation. Thanks.
Thank you, Councillor. The item is therefore seconded. We will then move on to item 11.3. 11.3 is the adoption of bylaw of Informal Trading Department of Planning, Human Settlements and Development. And the first person to speak on that item is Councillor Wessels. You have 4 minutes.
Thank you very much, Speaker. Yes, this item is to consider the final adoption of the informal trading bylaws applicable to the department, which is which was in front of council, and we provisionally approved this on the 11th of January 2023. So this bylaw was published in the media. Notices was also put up at various municipal notice boards, and comments were received from George Informal Traders, from the South African Informal Traders Alliance, and then also from the George Ratepayers Associations and various other organizations. All of these comments can be found in Annex B, and the answers to all of these comments can be found in Annex C. The bylaw are now presented to council for the final approval, whereafter it will be promulgated. This has been in front of council, Speaker, where we've provisionally approved it. It then went through the process and is now back at council for final adoption. So I will propose the recommendation. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. The next person to speak on the item is Councillor Montele. You have 3 minutes.
Manibulise Speaker. ANC ke ezinto ezidibene bylaws asizixhasi ngolu hlobo loba thina sikhokhele abantu esibaziyo ukuthi abafundanga, abanye bafundile, and i-ANC ikhokhela abantu abaqhele ukucaciselwa izinto practical, not kuthiwe into uzayifunda kwi-newspapers, kwi-social media. Sithi i-bylaws eziza nomasipala makazithathe azisebantwini, abacacisele abantu bazozi-understanda. ngoba ininzi into emenshiniweyo apha ehlambi ezaba strict kubantu bakuthi ngoba bengaziqhelanga. Asifuni ke ubona i-chaos efana nento yaseKapa ngoba siyaweva khona amagama asetyenziswayo apha into ezino-impounded good registers ezibhaliweyo apha ezininzi ne-freedom of trade ekufuneke zi-understandwe ngabantu bakuthi. Funeke bazi-understand uba xa kuthethwa ngale bylaw kuthethwa ngantoni na. Kungasuke kuthiwe nantsi i-bylaw kuthiwe masiyixhase iqhube ingakhange icacile. Sikhokhela abantu. I-ANC ke ngumbutho okhokhela abantu abahlala ekuhlaleni ekufuneke be-understande izinto ezithethwa phambi kwabo zicaciswa ngulo mntu unolwazi bazokwazi ubuza ii-questions bazokwazi u-understanda yonke le nto. So sizama ukuthi ke si-ANC ii-bylaws zeniza nazo zisenebantwini. Inkosi Speaker.
Thank you, Speaker. Greetings. We as the ANC, we are not in support of these bylaws because we lead, some of the people that we lead are illiterate, some of the people are schooled. So we do not lead people who are able to understand some of these things because we as the ANC, we lead people who are used to things being explained to them. We lead people who want to be made understand or to understand what is brought in front of them. So we say that these bylaws should be taken to the people so that people can have questions if there are questions, because we see there's a lot in these bylaws. We don't want a situation like in Cape Town because we see there's things like impoundment of goods here, and we see freedom of trade. Such things people need to understand what they mean, so that they can thoroughly ask questions where they are not clear on some things. So let these bylaws be taken to the people so people can be able to understand. Thank you.
Thank you. The next person to speak on this item is Councillor Carolus. You have 2 minutes.
Yeah, thank you, Speaker. The PPI supports a bylaw that provides a framework for the support and growth of the informal trading sector within the whole of George. Die informele sector is die hartklop van enige ekonomie in enige dorp. The bylaw should be increasing access for informal traders and not limit opportunities. On the topic of public participation, we need to make sure that the inputs from stakeholders reflect in our bylaws. Ek het 'n gesprek met die Papiesdorp Besigheidskamer gehad en hulle was nooit gevra om deel te neem aan gesprekke nie. Hulle verteenwoordig 'n groot gros van ons informele besighede. Die George Heights Buyers Association moes inisiatief neem om met hierdie mense te gesels om hulle inputs te kry sodat hulle iets kan formuleer. The bylaw must be promoting freedom of movement and freedom to access. The bylaw must ensure that integration and access are entrenched. Die toepassing van die bylaw, ons vra vir konsekwente toepassing. Kyk na tariewe in verskeie areas. Ons het gevalle nou waar mense in informele areas dieselfde tariewe moet betaal as mense in die dorp. The question to be asked here, are we really addressing the socio-economic challenges of the town? Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you. Mr. Paulus, would you translate the portions that were done in Afrikaans, please?
Thank you, Speaker. Ubebe ke uthethe malunga kokuqala ke intetho beyithethile bebhale kwi-Telling Africans uthethe malunga ne-chaos okanye ingxabano ibingathi iyenzeka apho bebehleli khona beluluntu abantu becela ukuqonda izinto ezithile ezibandakanywayo kwezi bylaws okanye kule migaqonkqubo. Futhi ke uphinde watsho into yobana ii-tariffs okanye imirhumo ebhatalwayo kwezinye iingingqi ifana nemirhumo ebhatalwayo kwezinye iingingqi zalapha edolophini. Uthi ke kukhona ukushiyashiyana nokungacaciliseki kakuhle kwizinto ezithile ezenzeka edolophini nezenzeka kwezethu iindawo. Ngoko zizinto ezinjalo ekufuneka zicace kakuhle abantu bethu bacaciselwe kuzo. Nkosi.
Thank you very much. The next person to speak on this item is Councillor Stumpy. You have 1 minute.
Thank you, Speaker. I won't dwell much on everything that my colleagues have touched on, which are the true facts that our people are facing and the challenges that our people are seeing. I just want to emphasize on one comment I've seen there on those comments that says, why is in Thembalethu there are so many informal trading other than Pakastorp? That person was comparing Pakastorp and Thembalethu. I just want to respond to that and say that it is because simply we are the neglected children of this city. That is why there are so many informal settlements in Thembalethu. It is not because of we like or we want to or it is fashionable for us to do so. It is because this municipality neglects us in such a way that we don't receive any service delivery, any care, any love from the management of the municipality. That is why we end up in these many informal tradings, which led in Thembalethu being a chaotic place. That is why they even said they fear for their safety, because there are so many illegal tradings and illegal trading happening here that even scares us, that even makes us at the community of Thembalethu unsafe as the residents of Thembalethu. So this municipality must take into consideration.
Thank you, Councillor. You can wrap up. It's now finished. Your time is done. You had 1 minute. Thank you. The next person to speak on the item is Councillor Smart.
Thank you very much, Speaker. We've been smothered by us and so forth, which is not a bad thing. However, I would like to agree with my colleague, Councillor Kampi. When it comes to of chairpersons, can I speak in Afrikaans rather? Wanneer dit kom by die implementering van hierdie bylaws waar daar wetstoepassing gedoen moet word, dan kry ons mense verskriklik swaar. Jy kry soos nou die illegal foreign winkeltjies, né? Wat as mense nou krag koop, dan moet hulle R5 ekstra betaal. As hulle aankope doen, moet hulle R10 ekstra betaal op die jojo masientjie of die goedes wat hulle met. Chairperson, ek wil hê dat die council moet note vat van hierdie ding, want hierdie ding raak vir ons 'n groot burden ten opsigte van onwettige ekstra gelde wat gevra word. Ek wil vra dat ons moet kyk hierna en dat die bylaws, chairperson, goed
Sorry about that, Councillor. Your time is up. The translation, please, Mr. Paulus.
Thank you, Speaker. Uthethe about implementation okanye ukuphunyezwa kule migaqonkqubo. Uthi iyasokola kakhulu, abantu basokola kakhulu abantu bethu akufikelela kuphunyeziwe kule migaqonkqubo, ngoba uthi umzekelo kwezi venkile ze-foreigners, my friend, apho mhlawumbi uyothenga umbane okanye uthenga into ethile, kube nemali ezi-extra ekufuneka uzibhatalile. Ezo zinto funeka zijongiwe ngumasipala wethu, because abantu bethu banoxanduva olukhulu abahleli nalo ke kwezo ngingqi ezinjalo. Ngoko ke ngoku ezi bylaws okanye le migaqonkqubo funeka ijonge, ilungiselele izinto ezinjalo ukwenzela uba ingacinezeli abantu bethu. Nkosi.
Thank you very much. The next person to speak on this item is Councillor Clark. You have 2 minutes, please.
Speaker, thank you. I think people are tired of the small town syndrome and tired of being negative. So let's embrace the improvements and changes that's happening so that we can have a thriving city and people will then feel more positive. I therefore second the item, and I'd also like to thank the officials for the work that's been done in this regard. Thank you. I second the item.
Thank you very much. Councillor Wessels, you have, would you like to give some clarity to the questions in line with item 17.5? I see your hand is up, please.
Yeah, thank you very much, Speaker. Yeah, I just want to maybe recognize some of the comments or speak to some of the comments. Within this very same item, it clearly states there that the municipality recognizes the role that informal trading plays in poverty alleviation, income generation, and entrepreneurial development. In particular, the positive impact that informal trading has on historical disadvantaged individuals and communities. So this very same policy that we've currently adopted specifically speaks to how we drive informal trading forward, and how we as a municipality and as a coalition acknowledges the right of informal traders to trade in line with a constitution, and it allows us to create an environment where the growth of businesses within the informal trading sector can actually take place. And councillors can take this or link this up with the 2 SMME hubs that is currently on the budget. Specifically, the one that's taking place now is Pakelsdorp and later on. And then maybe with regards to the comments received from Councillor Kampi, and I know myself and her had to spread some love in earlier council meetings as well. But maybe, with regards to Thembaleti, she must take a look at 8.2.1, the neighbourhood development partnership project, specifically for the Thembaleti node, where big things are happening for Thembaleti. So as previously promised her, I'll continue to spread the love to her and to Thembaleti. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councillor. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councillor.
Thank you. Thank you. Can we then continue? We take that as that item is being adopted. We move on to 11.4, the adoption of the George Integrated Zoning Scheme bylaw. Once again, Councillor Wessels, you have 4 minutes.
Thank you very much, Speaker. Yes, Speaker, this is also to adopt the George Integrated Zoning Scheme Bylaw 2023 and the related system of delegations. So the system of delegations can be found on page 970. Together with all the annexures, which is annexure A to E, that is at the back of the item. So, Speaker, this in principle, this George Integrated Zoning Bylaws scheme was also had an in principle adoption by Council on the 26th of April 2023, where then Council adopted the draft amended bylaws and the draft amended zoning map for the purposes and then it went through the public participation process. On page 971, we can see that there was thorough public participation via WhatsApp groups, notice boards, social media, in libraries, and a very thorough public participation process was then followed, and this ultimately is now what's back at Council. So I will propose recommendation A to G as on page 975. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councillor. The next person to speak on this item is Councillor E. Mdaka. You have 3 minutes. Councillor Mdaka, your time has started. You have 3 minutes, please. Councillor Mdaka. I'm going to move on if you do not continue, please. Somebody from the ANC, can you please inform him to go carry on?
Speaker. Okay, he's going to use the one that is open now. Speak with this one. Thank you.
Ibambe 2 minutes, this is a change laptop.
Councillors, please, I'm asked. Thank you. Continue.
Vakala speaker.
Yes.
Can I ask the other?
Mandibulise bonke abantu, ndibulise nakwi-speaker, ndibulise nakomeya. Ndizawungena ke kulo mcimbi wale mcimbi udibene nento ze-zoning. Okokuqala mandingene kulo mcimbi usoloko ubekwa wokokuba kune-public participation ezenziweyo. Kamnandi niyazichaza uba ngooWhatsApp nakwi-notice board. Kudala ke siyithetha into ethi ezi zinto mazingangeni zisizwe kwi-notice board. Abantu bethu bafuna ii-warm bodies ukwenzela bazoyi-understanda into ekuthethwa ngayo. Umzekelo njengoba lethi nizixhome library, jonga ithemba lethu ingakanani. Jonga enye indawo zingakanani, i-library iyi-1. Now asiyazi yona nto niyibalekayo kokuba ezi zinto ningazisondezi ebantwini. So i-public participation iyafuneka. Nanjengoba sijonga apha even nakupage 972 uyayibona pha ithi kusafuneka kudingekiwe okokuba kuziwe kwi-public participation kwiindawo ezifana noHarlem, oma-Union Dale, oomathemba lethu. Kukho izoning zakhona, kukho into ezizawubanjwa, which is iyacacisa mhlophe okokuba ngabana ezi zinto anifuni ukuzenza ngendlela. Loo nto ke ngoku ithetha ukuthi ezi ndawo senicinga okokuba ngoku maziqhubekeke okanye ezi zoning zazo maziphumelele, abantu bakhona bayayazi into ekuthethwa ngayo. Now sithi yizani nize ebantwini and nizicacise ezi zinto. If nithetha ngezoning ngemap, niyibeke phandle. Thina singabantu abakholwa kukubona. Sikholwa into siyiqwalasele kakuhle. If umzekelo kuthiwa indawo yebhizinesi ungayivi nje kube kukho abantu abahlala, ichazwe kogqitha kucace ukuba leni indawo kwenjenje, and then kubonakala okokuba abantu bathini. Nithi nidibene nasi-workshop sizi-councillors. Nangoku ayikabonakali yona nto nisi-workshop kuyo ngoba asizazi ezi zinto nithetha ngazo. So yonke lo mcimbi mhle wona xa unowuza ubekwe ebantwini ngendlela, ucaciswe, kubekwe into phaa babizwa abantu kuthiwe apha nantsi into ethile eza kwenziwa. And okwesibini, lo mcimbi wale zoning uzujonge ngathi kanti uza kuxhaphaza abantu ngoba eyona mbange yokuba singakwazi okokuba sinqwale njengoba nizazipasisa kwezinye indawo zigazethwe, zizawube ngoku sezisibophelela, zibophelela abantu bethu zisithi seyavunywa le nto. Ayikwazi ke ngoku okokuba izinto zi-adoptwe okanye zisondezwe kungekagqitywa lonke uluntu because anijonganga uluntu oluyi-1. Ezi ndawo nizibalayo nazo kuba kusezawuyiwa kuzo, ubuyazibona zezabantu aba-disadvantage, meaning ngabantu bethu. Nakwi-comments ezabo uyazibona uba zezimhlophe, meaning ngabantu abayaziyo le nto.
Thank you, Councillor. Your time is up. Could you please have a translation?
Thank you, Speaker. Yes, on this item of zoning, first of all, regarding to public participation, you say that it was done via your WhatsApps and the notices, and yes, as it stated there on the item where public participation has taken place. But as we've been saying in this council, that our people believe in face-to-face meetings and warm bodies, because our people, these things need to be explained thoroughly to them. Because if you say you've put a notice in the library, look at Thembalitu and look at how big Thembalitu is. Now, if you say that you've put a notice in the library, then it means that not everybody will be able to get whatever it's been put on the notice, because Thembalitu is a very huge township. So you do not do things accordingly, because if you look at page 972, it says that there are still some places where public participation has not yet taken place. Your places like Harlem, Union Dale, still public participation needs to take place. So things are not done accordingly. what we are saying is come to the people and explain to the people. And you talk about this map zoning things, and there are things that we do not want to bind ourselves with, because yes, this was workshopped with us as councillors, but even us, there are some areas that we don't understand in that workshop that has been done to us, which makes us not being able to carry it out to our people or explain it to our people. So if you can come to our people and explain these zoning things very carefully so that our people can be able to understand, because our people are people who believe in things being explained to them and making examples. If you are pointing out in a map and showing them exactly what is rezoning and what do you mean about these things, because we do not want to bind us in these things, and then it is gazetted, and when it comes back binding us as well, as if we were in agreement with this. So we are saying once again, this needs to be this needs to be taken to our people so that our people can be able to understand it properly. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The next person to speak on this item is Councillor Carolus. You have 2 minutes.
Speaker, dankie vir hierdie geleentheid. Speaker, die PBI het in beginsel geen probleem met so 'n bylaw. 'n Ruk terug het die president rede gevra dat munisipaliteite asseblief moet kyk na die redtyd rondom zoning. Zoning veral in ons informele areas en meer gevestigde woonbuurtes. Hier kyk ons na zoning sodat ons besigheidsmense groter geleenthede kan kry. Groter hulpverlening ten opsigte van zoning ook aan ons SMME's. Rural areas, hier praat ons nou van Herald, ons praat van Uniondale wat nog nie aandag gekry het nie. Sulke areas waar daar groter verligting moet plaasvind. Ons kyk ook na parkeer-issues by ons plaaslike besighede in woonbuurtes en agtergeblewe areas. Ons sukkel met parkering by sulke winkels dat ons net meer kyk na groter parkeerareas. Ons kyk ook na tariewe rondom zoning en dat tariewe meer bekostigbaar moet wees. Zoning moet ook meer toeganklik wees vir alle mense, sodat daar meer geleenthede geskep kan word. Dankie, Speaker.
Can we have a translation, please?
Uthi PBI ayinangxaki yona malunga nalo mgaqo-nkqubo, kodwa ke ucela into yobana umasipala ayijongisise kakuhle le ndaba yale rezoning. Uthi apha xa sijonga kujongwa into yobana abantu bamashishini ukubana basuswe okanye bafuduswe bazosiwa kwiindawo ezinkulu mhlawumbi apho amashishini wabo azawuthi aqhube kakuhle khona, okanye ame kwiindawo ezilungele ukuba angawuma kuwo. Uthi ke kusekhona neengingqi apho ezingekanakwa okanye ezingekajongwa kwa ukujongwa ezinjenge ne-Uniondale, apho ke zezo ndawo nazo esiqondayo into yokubana ziyadinga ukubana zijongwe futhi zinakekelwe. Uthi ke kukhona neendawo esisokola kakhulu kumashishini, sokola kakhulu ngendaba ye-parking, naxa nje uzihambela apha mhlawumbi khona izinto ofuna uzenza apha edolophini, kuneendawo ezisokolayo kakhulu uba makufumane khona indawo yokumisa okanye i-parking. Uthi kuphinde kujongwe nee-tariffs okanye imirhumo ekhoyo ehlawulwayo. Uthi ke izinto funeka zenziwe uba zifikeleleke, ngoba kune-tariffs ezinjalo kufuneka zijonge uba wonke umntu uyakwazi ukufikelela, futhi ke yonke le nto ibandakanywa apha kule migaqo-nkqubo iyafikeleleka na ebantwini, futhi ke abantu bakholisekile yiyo na.
Thank you, Mr. Paulus. The last person to speak on this item is Councillor Kleinans. You have 2 minutes, please.
Speaker, thank you very much for the opportunity. Speaker, firstly, councillors must know, according to the Municipal Systems Act, one of the systems of communicating to communities is specifically the councillors. So we must not let go or forget about that. Then, Speaker, furthermore, if my councillor colleagues have read on page 972, when you see point 2, the Directorate intends to expand the public participation in relation to the overlay zones by facilitating direct engagement with the communities of Haarlem, Uniondale, and Thembalethu. The proposed overlay zones for this area has therefore been excluded from the final draft GCIS bylaw 2023 document, which means that, Speaker, this government has listened to all the other areas, but they will go out to the communities that my councillor have alluded to. So therefore, Speaker, I would like to thank the department for making sure that they take cognizance of what our people have said to them, that they will go to the rural areas and to have give them the opportunity to give their insight, and also that they will go to make sure that our communities in the Tembaletu area have their time to also then give their input into specific this zoning scheme. I therefore would like to second the proposal made by my colleague.
Thank you, Councillor. The item therefore is seconded and carries, and the bylaw then adopted. We'll move on to 11.5, which is the UIDG allocation expenditure and amendments to the detailed project implementation plan. And the first person to speak on this item is Councillor van Brandis. You have 4 minutes.
Thank you very much, Speaker. This item seeks Council's approval to allow the municipal manager to make amendments to the DPIP to ensure we spend 100% of our annual grant funding. If you can remember correctly, we had a previous similar approval for the MEC DPIP, but as a secondary city, we qualify to use the IUDG grant, which obviously allows us to more grant funding, and we seek approval to do the same. I therefore propose the recommendation on page 1597. Thank you very much, Speaker.
Thank you very much. There are no other speakers on the list apart from Councillor Cronje. You have 2 minutes.
Thank you, Speaker. I second the recommendation made by my colleague.
Thank you. Thank you, Councillor. That item therefore carries. We'll move on to item 11.6, which is the performance agreements of the municipal manager, chief financial officer and directors. And the first person to speak on this item is Alderman van Wyk. You have 3 minutes.
Thank you, Speaker. This item is being brought to Council just to increase the level of transparency that we have. And as you will note from the recommendation, that we merely note these performance agreements. Now, the performance agreements are entered into with the municipal manager, and then the municipal manager with the various directors within the organisation. So I think what we just need to take note of, that these performance agreements relate then to the objectives that have been set within the IDP, and how that then gets translated into the KPIs within the top layer SDBIB. And that is what we should just be focusing on, and that they are then included within these agreements. And the audit process then also makes sure that there is that level of alignment between those objectives and the KPIs. So I accordingly then just indicate that this item is then for noting, and that these agreements are being made public on our website, and it will also be sent to the MEC for local government. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, Alderman. The next person to speak on this is the ANC. You have 2 minutes. ANC, is someone going to speak on this? Councillor. Please speak closer to the microphone. You're very quiet.
You hear me, Speaker?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay. Yes, Speaker. Yes. The ANC is not in favor of this yale recommendation ithatha ngayo ukunyusela ezimanage imali imivuzo yazo. Umsebenzi eziwenzayo ukuthi ekuhlaleni nasoneliseki nguwo kuba sicingelwa imibane, kodwa niyabancoma into yoba ngabantu abaright, sicingelwa imibane kangangoba izolo, Speaker, eParkersdorp pendukula area pha ePakazolo koma Eden Park bimnyama ePakazolo kungekho mbane kwabethu 8 komathemba lethu lavaya ngakoma zone 9 kweza area zethu zonke izibane ezazifakelwe pha ke ngumandla lumkileyo azisebenzi kodwa nithi aba bantu mabahoywe uphinde ujonge speaker abantu abalapha apha ezantsi apha ground floor abazele into zamatyala wabo ngezinto ezenziwa ngulo CFO nimncomayo apha bawenza imisebenzi emihle ngamatyala asoloko enyuka engapheli kuqhathwa abantu bakuthi uhambe uye kwa-civils indlela zethu kuba zigcwele amanzi and izikhalazo esizifakayo azihoyeki ndisathi ke mna ke speaker thina ke singumbutho wesizwe makiqwalaselwe le nto yokunyuselwa imivuzo yaba bantu mayijongisiswe kakuhle asivumelani nayo uba asixole imisebenzi abayenzayo bayilandelele ke speaker phambi kwaba kuthatha wonke amanyathelo nifuna wathatha asixole imisebenzi yabo enkosi
Councillors, please mind your microphones. Could we have a translation, please?
Thank you, Speaker. We as the ANC, we are not in support of this item of the performance bonuses that should be given to the directors. We are not satisfied with the work that they've been doing at all because we are sitting with problems in our areas. For example, yesterday around about 8, I was in Parkersdorp. I was in Parkersdorp, Eden Park, and it was dark there. There was no electricity by that time. Even other areas of Thembaletu, like Zone 9, there were problems with the electricity. Even Director Mandla, that you are recommending as one of the directors that should be getting performance bonus, has put or has erected some spray lights that are currently not working, that are giving problems to other areas. We have a problem downstairs. If you can now even look downstairs, there's a problem. Our people are flocking in because they have a problem with their electricity. The CFO that you are recommending to be getting a performance bonus is actually our people are not benefiting because there's a problem with the electricity and the tariffs that are affordability that our people cannot even afford. When you go to civil departments, the roads have got water, we've got a problem with the infrastructure, but you are recommending that the director should be getting a performance bonus. So please, we as the National Party, we are not in agreement with this item, and please follow it up because we are not satisfied at all. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The next person to speak on this item is Alderman Gericke. You have 3 minutes.
Speaker, the performance agreement is a very important document, and as it stands in the agenda today, it is looking good on paper. I must, before I start, mention that I would like to understand. It's fine if the CFO has drawn up and carries in the item, but I dare to say that nobody in the municipality should have been involved in the establishing of a performance agreement, because you cannot measure yourself. It should have been done by an independent consultant to draw up these documents. Nobody in the municipality, and no junior could also not be involved, because it's got to do with the performance of senior managers. So it is a matter of concern that the CFO is carrying this in. It's maybe under his department, but we would like to understand who has drawn up this document first and foremost, because a performance is defined as an execution of an action, and it should be used to ensure performance criteria is met individually amongst the senior managers whom we discuss here. It's about expectations and accountability. So nobody can put their own measures there. Must be an independent report coming from somewhere. And then a very important aspect of this item, Mr. Speaker, is that there must be consequences for non-performance, and it should be stated explicitly. If a director or senior manager is not performing, there should be consequences. And having said that, those consequences should not be abdicated to somebody in a junior level, as we will see later on in some of the items. The senior managers must take full accountability and responsibility for their actions and for the performance in their departments. Senior managers must be innovative and cannot stuck to the normal ordinary as has been before their employment. This is what we expect. People must come with new ideas. People must come with new innovation in order to improve service delivery in the city. This is what it's all about. They must take initiative. And yes, we are in favor of performance agreements, but these agreements must reflect the poor action, the pure action on the ground as to the performance in terms of service delivery. We have discussed a whole lot of problems this morning in this municipality. It does not reflect the performance that we expect, and therefore, Mr. Speaker, we must revisit this topic. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Alderman. The next person to speak on this item is Councillor Smart. You have 1 minute, please.
Thank you, Speaker. Not to waste time again. I would like to concur with what Councillor Gericke is saying. Just the mere fact, that you cannot measure yourself, and this proposal is brought in just for noting purposes. So it is always in an organizational structure there must be performance and appraisal. But it seems to me that there tend to be some points missing that must be measured as well. And I would like to agree with him that it cannot be brought in by a director, which is an employee. It must be brought in by council because council is the employer. That is my understanding. And otherwise, this is a very good thing to bring in because you just don't just pay out bonuses and stuff because you pay it out now on performance. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. The last person to speak on this item is Councillor Barnett. You have 1 minute, please.
Thank you, Speaker. Speaker, firstly, this item has got nothing to do with appraisal of our directors or our MM. This is merely what they are signing to take them through until June 2024. Thereafter only will they be evaluated. Secondly, the item was not written by a director. It was written by the performance unit by Ms. Prince. So it was not written by any of the directors. And as I said, it's not an appraisal. It is merely for noting. It is required by legislation. And just for the record, the agreement is from the MM side is between the MM and the mayor, and the MM then enters into agreement with her directors. So that is how the process works, and only afterwards, a year down the line, which is June 2024, they will be evaluated. So this item has got nothing to do with awarding any bonuses to any of our directors or officials. It is merely to do with the SDBIB and what is required of our senior managers. So I therefore propose that we note the item as recommended in A and B before us. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you. The item is therefore noted. We will move on to item 12, which is motions or proposals deferred from previous meetings. I've received none. New motions in item 13, I've received none. Item 14, matters at the discretion of the Speaker. I have no matters. And I'm going to continue with item 15, urgent matters by the municipal manager. MM, do you have anything that you'd like to handle urgently?
Speaker, no, I don't have any urgent matters. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Councillors, members of the public, and members of staff. That brings us to the end of the open session of this meeting. I'm going to ask, it is now 12 o'clock, if we could just adjourn for 20 minutes for a body break, and also to then get the confidential program ready. And I'm going to ask, in fact, let's make it at 12:30. Then it's good enough time to have something to eat, a body break, and we will resume this meeting at 12:30. This meeting is now adjourned until 12:30. Thank you.